Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you fine folks and all of the usual suspects. I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, yeah. Let's see what we got here. Get our usual test going on here. Make sure we're good. Alrighty. Let me see here. Still got music here. You can actually hear the delay. Still playing in the background. And then it stops. And let's see how our audio is here. Let's see here. All right, let me see. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Don't want to overdrive the audio. Let's not do that. That's not good. And let's see. Alrighty. Let's get that out of the way. I can see that's reflecting off that cup. That's not good. I'm wondering what this screen is like spazzing out on me here. I'm like, what is the deal here? So what's going on, everyone? Good to see everybody in there. Another fine afternoon, Friday to be more specific. So that's pretty cool. All right, there we go. Let me see here. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, the usuals are in here, right? Mimi's reactions in there. What's going on, Martin Wolf, right? Phil C, Josh D. Let's see. Mr. Pete Ferrero, what's going on? Elaine Millard, what's going on, I believe? You kind of threw me off a while back when you did that. He said, hi, Chris and everyone. Hope you are all okay. We are doing well here. Elaine, I hope you're doing well as well. Rock Hits, what's going on? Mars the Second Genesis, what's happening? Let's see. Rico Viglion, what's happening? This is going to be awesome. Oh, yeah. Well, you guys are already here, so it's already awesome. But, no, I know it sounds a little ass-kissy, but that's not, that's not what the deal was. But... yeah, we actually got a couple topics to talk about. Some of them, one of them is the main one, and it's got to do with Mars, of course. And then, of course, a couple other topics that got to do with space as well. And, of course, it's usually open conversation. You know, you guys jump in there, and, you know, if you guys have seen anything over the week and stuff like that, that's what makes it interesting, because we get to share either different news kind of things going on or observations or whatever it may be, right? So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Tony DeVern's in there. British squad's in. Hi, everyone. What's going on there, Tony? Daniel Lee. Hi, good evening. Hope everyone is okay. Hi, Chris. Hope you are doing well and had a good week. Looking forward to tonight's hangout. Danny, UK, Liverpool. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. Yeah, we did pretty well. We were kind of busy there, and like I said, I was able to get the 3 videos out for you guys. And I'm hoping to get that even higher, because it's like, you know, I've got a little bit more time now, you know, between work and now. So it's not too bad. So I can try to get out more for you guys, because I have these things like backed up. I've got people actually emailing, hey, check this out. And I go, I can't do a thing about it. I got these other things backed up right now. And so it's not like I'm trying to avoid you guys when you send me an email, because that's not the case at all. I'm just saying, well, if you're so backed up, it's kind of like, okay, you don't want to be unfair and say, well, move this person to the front and say the heck with everybody else. But, I mean, in all fairness, I could just say, oh, yeah, this is the first person to give it to me, you know, this email. Nah, I don't want to do that. I want to be fair. That's just the way to do it. And John Sharp is in there. What's going on, Mr. John Sharp? Let me see. Phil Z said, excellent air things video today. Oh, yeah. That one there is interesting. It's like almost when you thought you've pretty much seen all the crap you can see on the ground. Not going to happen. There's so much stuff in these things, between the Curiosity and between Perseverance. Ingenuity, you haven't really heard much about, but you know what I'm saying? It's like every time you turn around and go, ah, yeah, we've seen it all. No, you haven't. I know I haven't. And I have seen many photos, hundreds upon hundreds, and I'm still surprised at the stuff I see in these photos. It's insane how much is there. We were trying to get, I don't know if you guys remember last week we had Jean Ward on there. He was in the chat, and he said he'd be glad to join us. So I gave him I responded to his last, well, I've dropped a comment on his last video, which is great, by the way, if you guys haven't checked it out. And I didn't hear anything back, but I know he said to one of his subs that commented there, he said he was just very busy. So it is what it is. Life first, you know, hobby later, or whatever it is you call this. That's second, right? So life first, got to do what you got to do. I was hoping to have him on, but he may show up in here, I'm sure, which is cool. And he's found a little bit more in his photos than he thinks. These rocks. I was happened to be looking at one of these photos that he had done, and he had like a list of, I know a lot of you guys are sub to him as well, where he was scrolling up, and this is on the last video, he's scrolling up in all of these finds, and what he had was, like you could see like either round, rectangular, otter-shaped rocks with these other rocks right smack dab in the middle. Well, he had like 3 of them, and I stopped it right there, and I did a screen grab, and I went, there's more to it than what he's seeing. So I'm thankfully he's finding these things, first of all, because that's what matters, right? But I was just like, I'm going to pass it along to him and say, you ought to check this out. This is pretty cool. Because, like I said, by him doing what he does, I was able to find a couple things as well. So, like I said, it's like a one hand washes the other kind of thing, right? So I thought it was really, really interesting when I found that. In fact, we had done that one time. He was on the live feed, remember? We had, what the heck was it? And I said, there's more to it than that, because he was showing us his finds. And, of course, he's got his site where he showed, you know, these finds. And he said right out, he says, well, you know, check out these. And I said, oh, wow, this looks like structures or something else around there. And he says, oh, wow, you're right. Well, that's pretty much what I found this time. Really, really cool. John Chop, we want the band. You gotta admit, even that starting music is pretty cool. I mean, I've got like what I call a Frankenstein audio system, so it's got like 2 Bose speakers and a clip subwoofer here on my on the computer, and it sounds good on it. I don't know about you guys. If you just listen on phones, you probably wouldn't hear it, but it really sounds good on a good system, a decent system. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure. John Shaw, where's old Gene? Jean, rather. I keep wanting to say Gene because I see the way it's spelled, right? But it's Jean. And of course, I think when I first started talking to him, I said, he said, oh, it's actually pronounced Jean. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect anybody. You know, I was like, oh my God, so I'm so used to calling somebody like that, call Gene, but obviously it can be pronounced differently. Let's see. Limey Watcher, what's happening? You said, hi, Chris, hope all is well. It is Limey Watcher. I hope you're doing well as well. MG Toes in there. What's going on, MG? Wow, I love it when it does this. I'm literally going one at a time to try to get the comments. It's like, why does it do that? Glenn Marsh, what's happening? Hi, Chris. I'm sorry. Well, that was the other. Hold on. Well, I just moved the wheel one time and shut up. So it actually combined 2 comments. Nice, huh? You said, hi, everyone. Hope all is well from Cape Breton. Brenton, rather. I'm sorry. What's happening? Uh-oh, these guys are talking about cars. Old 442 in there. Gotta love them. Josh D. First, French spelling Jean, as you say, it's a girl's name. I've never actually heard it pronounced that way. That's why it kind of threw me off, I guess. Hate it when it happens. Let me do this. Make the screen a wee bit better. A wee bit bigger here. Let's see here. Maybe not. It's basically told me to go F myself. Let me see here. And what is the deal here? Why won't it do it? Oh well, I have to leave it that way. I have to leave it that way. Sup, Kyle? What's going on? Thank you, brother, for your support. I do appreciate you. I do appreciate it. From the old super chat. Okay, let me just go all the way down the bottom here. It's this way. So if anybody's left a message or a comment or question, just rewrite it if you don't mind. Okay, I want to keep current if we can. I like to catch everybody if I can. Mr. James Cragen's in the house. What's going on, James? Good to see you there, brother. Samantha Morris, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. What's going on, Adam? Yeah, TR3B, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris, long time no see. That's true. Where you been, man? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing okay. Or is it just life getting in the way, which is typically what happens, right? It is what it is. Doesn't mean it's bad, right? It could be working a lot, could be doing whatever, you know. Got to do what you got to do. First things first. I don't know why this thing's giving me a hard time here. Just being finicky. It's like, no, I'm not working that way today. Not going to do it. Julia, what's happening? He said, hey, Moon Man, I heard you were serving free wine. Shh. That's after the hangout. Shh. Yeah, I hope you got my last email, because I did get yours, and I looked at it this morning, and I guess you didn't see it, but check it out when you get a chance. And I totally understand, by the way. You know what I mean. Let's see. John, Chris, how do you smell? Terrible? No, actually pretty good. Took a nice shower. We're doing all right. How are you doing, John? It'd be pretty bad if I did that and I passed out. It wouldn't be good at all, would it? Let's see. Adam, he said, how many people have Zoom with the three amigos you mentioned? I think a Zoom one day would be awesome. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, you know, like to just get everybody on there and just, you know, everybody have a good rap and everything else, you know. Talk a little bit here and there. Sometimes it's good. I mean, I've had my old friend Peter. He was called, I'm going to actually draw a blank here. Space Cadet. And he was on there one time, and I loved it because one day we were talking, and he says, oh, Chris, I totally disagree with you. I love that. Because here's the thing. You don't want people, just like I said with you guys as well, just like agreeing with everything. Because obviously you're your own person, and I love it because I can go into the, you'll see me actually love your comment, even though you're saying differently. Like somebody, one of the subs today said about the video, oh, it's just, you know, weather, wear and tear. Listen, I appreciate everybody's comments because it's how you feel. I'm not going to condemn you for it. Unless, of course, it's so off the beaten path where you're like, oh, I see a guy smoking a joint right there. Well, yeah. But other than that, I don't care. Everybody's welcome to drop whatever they want. It is what it is, right? I don't have a problem with it. Oh, okay, cool, TR3B. You said, yep, the struggles of life, but we get through it. Glad to be back. I'm glad you are back. That's awesome. I said, I just dealt with COVID not long ago, about a couple months ago, so I feel you. And if yours wasn't bad, that's good, but you know what I'm saying? Things happen. Sometimes it's uncontrollable. John Schaub said, Chris, your moon video was great. I noticed it in the white crater. There was a wall around the shadows, and I saw a chrome thing with legs. Oh, I know what. Yeah, I remember seeing your comment because you said when you look at and there's many of these, by the way. When you see the crater, you can see what looks like legs, like a platform that whatever these things are on is a platform. It's not just like you don't see a concaved, crater there. They're more like platforms, right? Julie said, I did, and I replied via another platform. You got mail. All right. The big official reply comes in a day or so. Big one, Re-Atlantis, and recent find of mine. Cool. I'll have to check it out. I haven't looked at it after, but yeah, cool. I just wanted to make sure you got the email, because I think when did you drop that? Was it the 1st of, I know it was like the 1st of this month, because we're only into the 5th today. Unless, of course, you guys are overseas and around the world, then it'd be the 6th. But yeah, I mean, I think it was like the second or third you might have dropped that email. So I said, well, let me get back to it. I haven't even really been checking them. So I get in there every now and then. I'm like bombarded with all kinds of emails. I'm like, oh my God. So I tried to, like I said, I tried to put these on there. Okay, just take this photo that this person sent me, this comment, whatever, and just get them put aside, you know. But yeah, check it out there, Julia. Yep, always something new happening. That's what I love about it. Mike Knapp, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. You got fireworks going over there, really? He said, I'm literally making the house shake. I just had a thunderstorm not long ago. You guys remember that power went out and I still stayed on the air until, well, kind of like I had to change my modem, my second one. Had to change it to the battery backup because it's like the internet went down, but my whole computers and everything stayed on. And then as soon as the power came back on, because it kept flickering on and off, it would go off for like, 5 seconds, come back on, so on and so forth for like 3 or 4 times. But it's still, I was on immediately. It came right back on. I didn't have to try to get back on. It was already on there. So it was pretty cool. Steve Gunn, we're talking to Mimi. He said, hey, Christmas trees are already going up here already. Wow. Well, it's about that time though, right? Mark Coffey, you said, I wouldn't care if you were smoking. I still love your finds, especially with complex looking machinery. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, Mark. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff we find is just crazy. It's kind of like I said, it's like a Cracker Jack box. You just don't know what you're going to find. Unless, of course, you've opened up every single one of them and you get to like doubles again, but you know what I mean. But the you just don't know what you're going to find. Every time, like I say, well, you can see where they're manipulating the photo here, so on and so forth over here, but you just don't know what you're going to find. But like I said, that dome, what looked like a dome, in that photo, and then what looked like that weird cylindrical, almost looked like a jet engine type thing laying in the, what? No way. Somebody had said in the comment section, it said it was probably leftover salt. And I can go with that because they said, well, it happens here on Earth as well. And of course, that area did have an ocean, right? Now, if it was salt water, makes sense. But what I have a problem with, you don't see it on the other mountains. You don't see it there. So that's why that theory kind of goes out the window. Like I said, we know it isn't snow because it would be on that mountain as well. So, and then when you really look at the little details and you see these little weird squares put together, that cylindrical object, it's just weird stuff. It just doesn't make sense. You should not be seeing that in a Martian photo. It's as simple as that. Oh, Phil C., thank you very much, sir, for your support. I do appreciate it. No questions yet, just sending some beer money. I appreciate it. That is awesome. You guys are the shiznat. Let me see. Jonathan Waddell, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris, and fellow subs. What's going on, Jonathan? Good to see you in there, man. Felipe Picard, what's going on? He said, hello, very good video. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Julia, you know your family here, you know that. Because you're talking to Josh D, but yeah. We definitely need to do a couple of them Antarctica because I want to get some of them knocked out as well. Because you sent me them pictures a while back as I requested them from you. But I've been trying to get these other ones done, get them out of the way, but we definitely got to get a couple of them in there. It's definitely good to have in there. And yeah. In fact, we'll send you over I believe the site's still up with no problem, so what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the Antarctica site, Julia's site, and Sarah's, of course. So we'll do that. And you guys are welcome to check it out. You can check out the channel that is also for Antarctica if you haven't seen it yet. Check that out as well. And because I think it doesn't matter if it's Antarctica or if it's the moon, Mars. If it's information that the public should know, I think we should get it out. I think everyone would agree on that. I just wish these space agencies would do a little bit better, like being a little bit more forthcoming when it comes to this information. But I think we all know why they don't do it. Because basically they're puppets. The DOD's got them on a string. Gary Miller, what's happening? He said, hi, Chris and friends. Glad I can finally join a Hangout again. Oh, that's cool. Good to have you in there, Gary. That's awesome. Yeah, it's presently, you guys are talking about, Kyle, you're talking to Pete. We're at 64 in Columbus, Ohio. Right now it's 55 here, showing a dew point of 30, and you know what that means, right? It's going to be at least 30 degrees tonight. So, but that can vary as the sun goes down. Sometimes it changes here or there, you know. This morning I think it was 29 degrees Fahrenheit, so a little chilly. You got to go out there and scrape the ice off, which, well, actually I don't do that. I just start the car up. But every now and then if you get out of the house late, like scraping it off. But, you know, got to do what you got to do. You got to love wintertime. Yeah, Mini Cove, yeah, there you go. I firmly believe Chris was a Martian in another life during his reincarnation process. Shh, don't tell nobody. But I will give you guys the 411 what's going on with Mars. Where I lived on Mars was this. Huh. I lived on Alien Ave, right? No. Paul McCoon, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris and others. Friday again. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Gots to love it. Cameron, what's happening? It's 40 in Texas right now? Really? Damn, there must be a low really dropping down. You got that right, Mike. This week has flown by. That's a good question, John. You said if the moon and Mars are our ancestral homes, what are other planets? Totally agree with you. Totally agree. James, you're right. You said, Chris, I think there is a big blast of solar flares booming out from the sun. Did you see anything about it, man? Yeah. In fact, I do have a tab open for that where I believe it was yesterday we had one come by. It wasn't a super direct hit, but it was enough to say that it could interfere with your GPS. It could interfere with maybe your cell phone, but it's mostly up higher. The closer to the atmosphere you get, the more chance of getting disruption. So anything like satellite TV, I even say even regular satellite TV, because what most people don't know is that you have a C-band satellite that they transmit from. It converts it up at the top, meaning out on a satellite, and comes back down as a KU signal. And then, of course, you guys get the signal from either Dish Network, Bell Express View in Canada, so on and so forth, DirecTV, all of them. So you will get that because it bounces off these satellites and back down. So you may see a disruption there. Maybe the signal's weak or it just doesn't come in at all. Cell phones, especially satellite phones, you'll see a disruption of that. But they're saying that's not the last of them, guys. It's not the last of them. And it would not surprise me, you know, if we got whacked by a real bad one. You know what I mean? That would suck. I think we talked about that not long ago. We were talking about, can you imagine getting wiped by one of those things, get completely wiped where hardly anything has an electricity anymore. It's just completely down. It's like knock your butts right back into the dark ages. That would suck. Royally. Be total pandemonium. I agree with you, Phil. You said it's 55 in Kentucky. We went from 80s to 90s to 50s and 60s in 1 week. It didn't used to change abruptly. Yeah, I mean, I noticed the same thing. I said, Mother Nature, we don't need fall. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I thought the same thing. And I'm going, what is going on here? Let me see. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. I said the same thing, and I'm going, good Lord. No fall at all, just straight into crap. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm hearing it's going to be bad, because I heard that the last couple years, like the Farmer's Almanac, which I don't really believe in, But they say, you know, you listen to just about all the weather channels, they're saying that it's going to be really bad. So I'm just curious just how, you know, bad it's going to be, right? Mags K's in there. What's going on, Mags? Good to see you in there. Julia talking to Josh D. Go easy now. We don't want to see you pass out on, you know, and fall out on us here. Go easy on it there, Julia. What's going on, Scratch? Exactly, Pete. You said 10 times and up, then worry big time. Oh, yeah, because we're only talking about like an M1. And they said even an M3 could be really bad. So, and of course, the bigger the number, of course, it gets worse and worse, right? Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would be like if it was like we were hit by something like that. I'd be like, holy mother of God, that would be bad. Yeah, I think, you know, Mimi, you said the sunstorm really must be strong. Well, they said, I think it was the Geo Satellite 1, I think it was, or 3, where they said, or it was 1 and 3, but they said the second that flare came out, because you're looking at it from the SOHO satellite, within 15 minutes it was here. Now you go, okay, sun, moon, sun, Earth, okay. That's a hell of a distance. It got there in 15 minutes. So, yeah, usually if they go, oh, by the way, there's a huge flare, you won't even have time to know it. Everything would just go zzz, and that would be the end of it. And again, pure pandemonium. You got knocked in the back ages, and we touched on this because I told you that a friend of mine's wife was telling me about how, you know, randomly she's just talking about electric cars. And, oh, yeah, what would you do then? Would you go get a bucket of electricity if the power went out? If the power went out for a long time, nobody'd be going anywhere. Nobody. How are you going to get gas if the pumps don't work? So this is where the, you know, pandemonium will break out, because you're going to have people out there that are going to go, you know what, I'm going to steal this next door neighbor's gas. Guess what's going to happen? Nothing, because the computer in the car is singed. It's completely burnt up. So don't even bother. And from my knowledge, I don't believe that they're insulating those for a storm like that. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way, John. You said, Chris, I've got a Honda generator and a Honda C90, so I'm okay. Yeah, I mean, I've got one that's a 2000. It's got a, you know, sine wave and all that crap built into it. And I think it cost me like $500. Now they're kind of gouging them a little bit. They're going like $550, you know, $575. And it's only like 50 pounds. You can carry the thing around all day long. And so what I do is I broke it in. You know, I put the thing on eco, which the idle really comes down. And I still ran my refrigerator, not even trying. So I was like, okay, run it out of gas. And then I just cleaned it all up, put it back in its box, put it away in the house. So I had to make that clear. I ran it out of gas. Some people are like, don't put a generator in the house, man. You're crazy. I know what I'm doing, guys. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, you never do that. That's not a good idea. I mean, it's pretty bad when it's on the news and people go, yeah, a family died today because they're running a generator in their house. I'm going, what? Seriously? That's like running your car in a house. Nah, don't worry about that asphyxiation. I mean, come on. Be careful. What's going on, James? Thank you very much, sir. He said, Chris, great videos again this week, and you are spot on what you were pointing out to and explaining in regards to a very evident CGI block blurring. Oh, yeah. Between the blurring and just the, I don't know how they do it. Actually, I do know how they do it. They, like I said, they probably have a picture of excellent photo coming from, I can almost guarantee it's like 4K. Almost guarantee it. Because even if they said, well, we have a problem getting the information from Mars to here, what would you guys do? I mean, to me, I'd go, okay, get the photo, even if it's 4K or 8K, it would take a while to transmit that information, right? It's okay. We'll wait. They get it in. Okay, here's the picture, the whole picture. Absolutely astonishing details. Okay, put it through the computer, downsize it, make it a lot less resolution. They probably got a program that makes it a lot less resolution. Or they just take a cheap, real small photo, black and white, lower, res, and that's it. There you go. And then, of course, they doctor it up, and then they send it our way, and we get left with garbage. When you can almost guarantee it's like at least a 4K detailed photo. That would be amazing. That would be something to see. Marcel Seifert, what's going on? He said, hey, here. Bueller. Kyle, he said, Chris is in Pittsburgh. Oh, no, I'm in WV. In West Virginia, so we're still next door. We're even closer. Right there on the Kentucky-Ohio line. Oops. And thing goes again. Kyle says, yes, everybody hit the thumbs up. Yeah, hit it. Psh. Hey, our thumbs down started. He jumped right on there as soon as we started, so at least he's right on the ball. Awesome. Say hi, everybody. Hi, thumbs down. I heard about that, Adam. I'm not sure how large, but he said, didn't they say the ozone layer has opened up again? That's why we may be seeing the more lights, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much saying that. And I don't know if it was right over Antarctica as well. Trying to remember exactly what they said, but it was supposed to be opening up again. Remember before we had that ozone, we had a big hole in the ozone, then of course it healed itself, now it's back open. I don't know. It would not surprise me, though. Would not surprise me. Oops. Where'd it go? Just jumped on me again here. I saw it, and as soon as I did, it jumped on me, and I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Mimi, you see it once, and the next, the men in black pay you a visit. Oh, yeah. You will cease and desist now, or we will kill you and your family. Well, you better be really crafty getting to my house. Really crafty. And then, make sure you're good with God. Cameron said, good stream as always, Chris. I have to go to the football game. Have a great weekend, Chris. I appreciate it, Cameron. He said, going to go to, okay. Awesome. Well, I hope your team wins. Mimi says, West Virginia. Yes. Mountain Mama. Marcel says, giant German watchers, LOL. There you go. Sky Blue, what's happening? He said, we couldn't communicate with other planets because of the distance. Maybe in the future, it will be able to, with a particle entanglement technology. I don't know. I mean, the way they're, you know, the way, it's like what we're doing with Mars right now. I believe it's, you know, quantum communications right now. Because before, what they used to say, it takes 5 and maybe up to 20 minutes. Now it takes like literally a minute, if that. So, and that was let out of the bag by a guy that worked at NASA. So I have a feeling they have much better communication. Now, as far as other planets, like you're saying, if you're going way out, right, like exo solar system, things of that sort, it depends. Like those, what was it, the FRBs, right, the fast radio burst, where I think that's actually other civilizations communicating back and forth. Now, of course, I could be totally wrong on that, but, you know, you get a super flash over here, you get a flash from that direction, you get a flash over there. And, of course, they're going, yeah, well, that one's like, you know, 200 million light years away, this one's only 40. Okay, what does that even mean? And like I said, it was just a speculation on my part where I said, perhaps, maybe it's a communication thing. And like I said, if it's done by light, how much information could be in that light? And, you know, once you receive it, it's like, brrr, just comes down into a computer, and it's like I said, it's like the universal newspaper kind of thing, you know, just tell what's going on. You know, how do we know? So, I mean, it's literally within milliseconds that you see it. It's like, wham! It's like fast as you can blink an eye. So, if that's true, and these are actually communications between other planets, then we're so far behind our rare ends we can't even see what day it is. So Yeah, we definitely need to get, with the program. Yeah, Julia, thumbs down is a sawed-off coward. He's not a man. He's a. Yeah, you get that. You know how that goes. But you gotta say hello to him. Poor pathetic people. Like I said, they must sit there and he goes, boom. Mars anomaly is now alive. Hurry up, gotta get there. Click, thumbs down. Shoo. Glad I made that. Where's the logic in this? I mean, you know what I mean? Josh D said it's now 99% certain that more than one funky signal was received by U.S. alone. Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee SETI themselves have already, they've already got a signal from them. Even if they couldn't track it, then they've gotten the signal. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like Contact, the movie. Remember that? They were actually recording it. When they heard that signal, they just, boom, put it on record, and they recorded it. And then all of a sudden, of course, they were able to decipher subcarriers and all this other stuff in it. So they figured out what was going on, right? So, and then, of course, there's other underlying information in there, like a subcarrier, like I said. So we don't even know. I mean, to me, it doesn't surprise me. There's life all around us, and we're just like too stupid to know. We don't have the technology to figure it out yet, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we're getting there. Don't get me wrong, but we're getting there. We just have a ways to go. Adam, coffee break and breakfast. Be right back. Oops. Rockhead, you said if can communicate, they keep that quiet too. NASA. Oh yeah, they're not going to say, oh, by the way, there was a communication with this other planet, and they basically said, yeah, how are you guys doing? How do we know? Can you imagine if they ever did that, where they're chatting back and forth all the time? Can you imagine if we started doing that and we were like totally dumbfounded, and of course they told the public that they were like, oh yeah, we just started talking to this planet and it's awesome. This is what they say every day. We just actually, and then they put them on like audio so the planet everybody can hear them, and they're going back and forth. Wouldn't that be neat? I wonder if, well, I was going to say, I wonder if they could do that. Of course they could do that. But I find it interesting that, you can almost guarantee that they have, but they won't say a word about it. Everything's shh. The G's viewer says, how do you think we could communicate with another planet life form? We all speak languages. I can't communicate with Chinese, Russian. No, but you can do it numerically, because math is universal. So, at least to the best of our knowledge, we don't even know if it's totally different on other planets. Meaning, it's something we would never think of in a million years. Because just because we grew up in a certain path, and we've developed in this certain path, doesn't mean we're not so far off the beaten path, the main path, that we don't even know. They could bring a mathematics to us and we'd like, what? We wouldn't have a clue about. This is the reason why when they say, well, you wouldn't be able to do this, you wouldn't be able to breathe on this planet, you wouldn't be able to... Stop. That doesn't mean squat to me. If you're technologically advanced and you want to mine on another planet, we want to mine on the moon, right? Okay, there's pretty much no atmosphere on the moon, right? So would you go out there with no spacesuit on, or would you dress accordingly? Common sense. So if you're going to live on another planet, like we plan on having bases, other countries plan on having bases on the moon, they're going to have structures that are sealed, and it's going to have their own atmospherics. So I don't care if it was made of total carbon, on the planet. It doesn't matter. You're not going to breathe it in. In fact, we got now technology to convert carbon to oxygen. Not a big deal. So if we're doing it, and they're so far ahead of us, trust me, they can do it. They can live on any planet they wish to live on. But they're like, oh, I don't think that'll work. Okay. They said you don't have to be an Einstein to figure this stuff out. Kyle Harvey, thank you, sir, again. He said the United States government has to figure it out. Anti-gravity technology is keeping it behind the curtain from the public. Yeah, I mean, anti-gravity technology, they've been working with that since the 40s, right? So you can bet they got it perfected. You can almost guarantee it. And they're probably going from planet to planet within minutes as opposed to months. No, first, if you remember correctly, guys, back in the day when they started off with like, I think it was even right down to the first rover, the Sojourner, where that was in '97. It was like 9 months to get there. Now it's like 7. So better technology, faster transportation. Can you imagine if they've perfected anti-gravity? Wow, what are you kidding me? There's no struggles to get out of the atmosphere anymore. It's like, shoo, and you're gone. There's nothing pushing on you. You don't have to push on it. Just go. Crazy. John Schaub, he said, communicate with lights. Yeah, there you go. Kind of like Close Encounters, remember that? It's basically the lights and sound. Break all the windows. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs, what's going on? He said they had anti-gravity for decades, now at minimum. Oh yeah. Like I said, they've been messing around with that since, you know, if you really go back to some of these science papers where they talk about that, they had, like I said, they were messing with anti-gravitics since the 40s. So you can bet they got that, you know, because here's the thing. Let's say you start off and you go, ooh, I got this thing to float. Let's say this bottle of water. Oh, we got it to float. And whatever, how they did it. And it kind of failed. Well, wait a minute. We got a small bite of that, so we know how to do it. Let's keep working at it. And you'll get it. There's no way around it. Sky Blue said, how far away would their planet be? I don't know. That's a great question. Let's say, for argument's sake, it's 40 light years away. Okay. Now, we know that it takes time for it to get here. We know that, right? But if they're using a high technology, like light technology, you say, well, it's still going to be kind of slow as opposed to, you know, it's still going to be, you know, if you're checking out like regular radio waves and as far as light. But that doesn't mean that they don't have quantum, something on a quantum, even much higher on a quantum level to communicate with. And if you have a way to decipher it, let's say you knew there were radio signals, but you didn't know, you couldn't decipher it, what would you do? Well, you try to figure it out. You say, is it some kind of FM modulation, frequency modulation, is amplitude, which is like, you know, AM and FM. Is it long wave? Is it much higher, like way over the giga spectrum? We don't know. We have no idea. But you try to figure it out, almost guarantee it. And at some point, you'll figure it out. Claire Mead, what's going on? He said, hi, everyone. A bit late arriving. Oh, you're fine. Glad you're here. Glad you're here, Claire. Here, Claire. Oh. Third eye open. What's happening? Good to see you in there. Marcel, you said, according to my friend Frank Jacob, packing for Mars, we are in communication with other planets for decades now. Ask him. That doesn't even surprise me. I'm not even surprised in the least bit. Many Grove. I also believe our friend Chris was you should have said castronaut in his former lives. Templar, what's going on? You said I had a close encounter in Thailand. A lot of people have, believe it or not, whether just simple, you know, just encounter, you know, been abducted. You've heard about these, of course. Some of them are bogus. We know that. In fact, there might be a good majority that is. However, that doesn't mean that they all are, right? Oh no, Kyle. He said, so basically we're not nuts anymore. No, not at all. James Bible, he said, hi Chris, I'm not often able to catch your show live, but I do watch and upvote when I can. Great content. Thank you, James. I do appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing good, too. What's going on there, Big Al? Said howdy. Oh, let me see here. Oliver Klein, you said they need 8 hours by carrier ships to Mars and 8 hours return, but come back 30 minutes later. That's the technology SSC has. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think we'd be like totally blown away if, can you imagine the technology we do actually have? We have the technology we see here on Earth and you go, wow, it's just insane, right? Like, if you look at the fighter jets that a lot of these countries have, they're basically getting to the point where all they're going to do is think about what they want the jet to do and it'll do it. The technology aboard, I mean, of course, they've had radar, infrared for years, right? This is nothing new. But, I mean, now they're getting so technically advanced that these things are basically UFOs in a jet fighter form. But, of course, that's not quite it. But you can imagine something that they really... Think about it. If you were sitting there as a scientist going, I'd really like to get to that planet over there. But, I mean, it just takes so long. We got to get off the planet, which takes so much fuel. We exhaust the fuel by the time we even get to that planet. Wait a minute. Can we figure another way to get there? Sure, why don't we try messing with this? If we could conquer gravity from escaping the Earth, how do we be able to do that? Something that's anti-gravity. Oh, there you go. So it doesn't take long before once you get the gist of it and you start going, like I said, you maybe get something to float a little bit. Okay, wait a minute, it's working. Do this, and then do it like smaller models. Next thing you know, you got it done, Have it unmanned first and see how it goes, and then you're ready to rock till you perfect it. What's going on, Christine Ingram? Good to see you in there. You said, hi, everyone, and hi, Chris. How's everyone? I'm doing well, Christine. I hope you're doing well as well. I'm not sure why that held it back there, Sky Blue. You're just talking thumbs up to Ashashori. I'm not even think I'm even pronouncing that correctly. Maxine W. He said, and noise means the same thing in any language, frequency. Pretty much, right? Sometimes you don't have to speak the same language. It's all about, could be vibration, sound, light, Arts and Crafts, how you been? He said, hi, everyone. Hi, Chris. Well, hey, Chris. Hope you're all well. I am. Arts and Crafts, good to see you in there. What's going on, Turklerin? He said, hi, everyone. All right. Now, how many of you guys have heard the news? Now, this is weird. This come out the 1st of this month. We're only talking 4 days ago, and 5 if you're, already the next day. What I found interesting was this article where it said in 2017, the Curiosity rover found molecules. What does that mean? Hold on. NASA just found these organic molecules on Mars for the first time after spending 1,909 Martian cells on the red planet. I'm going, wait a minute. Heck, we're up in the 3,000s by now, so what's the deal here? So I look at the top, and it says 11/1/2021. I'm like, 11 p.m. they posted this. I'm like, okay. And when you read this, I believe it goes back down to, this is February 18th right there. Right there. What's new? In March 2017, Curiosity collected dirt samples from the Bagnold Dune on Mars. Because Curiosity's drill was out of service at the time, the team decided to conduct a first-of-its-kind experiment. Get myself out of the way here. I'm actually literally in the way here. So the rover has 74 cups in its belly, and 9 of those cups are pre-filled with a chemical mixture. In the regular process, when we collect a sample with a robot arm of Curiosity, we would drop it into one of those cups, Milan says. But in this case, we dropped the sample into one of the fields filled with chemical reagents, whatever the hell they call it. The team did not expect the sample to be rich in well-preserved organic molecules, since ionizing radiation had long battered the ancient soil. Or is it really ancient? But after testing the sample with chemical mixture, the team behind the mission identified organic molecules never seen, or before seen on Mars, The 2 most significant molecules was benzoic acid and ammonia. Okay, you say, well, what does that significance got to do with anything? Well, organic molecules are essentially the building blocks of life. Isn't that what they've been looking for? Because every living thing, plant or animal, is made of organic molecules and usually needs to consume other organic molecules to live. Organic molecules are responsible for the DNA and RNA in animals and plants. So they found it. Organic life, or molecules. It's still on even if it's molecular, it's on a very small scale. Microbial, doesn't matter. It still needs to feed off others. So they found it. This is back in 2017. Oh, we're still looking for the building blocks of life. Are you serious? There it is. Let me see here. Mimi reacts. She said, yep, slow disclosure, drip, drip, drip. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You also said it won't be long until they find insects. Well, like I said, I believe those things were flying in the sky in that last video I just did. Today I let out. When you see something, it's one thing to see it like a dot. Somebody says, well, that's probably like some kind of microbial, like, piece of dust or whatever it may be, right? I go, okay, but one's going this way, upward, and the other one's going this way. Or it looks like it's kind of like moving slowly, and you can see the top of it and the bottom blurred, but the 2 ends are pretty clear. Why do you suppose that would be? I don't know. So I believe this thing's flying on the planet. We already know that the sky is blue on Mars. They actually screwed up and let that out of the bag with an InSight lander. So we don't have to make it up, because some people go, oh, how do you know that? Just watch the InSight lander video when it was live at NASA Control Center. It's pretty much right there, right in front of your face, and especially when they say, oh, wow, the sky's blue. They were actually surprised with it. What's that tell you? So Max K said, hi, Chris. Was busy with my granddaughter. Bonnie has left the building, and I'm knackered. Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad you're back. No, Julia, no. They wouldn't lie to us. Come on now. They said, NASA lying to us? I'm shocked. News bulletin on Mars, they exist remains of destroyed civilization like our relatives. Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if we actually came from there and then hopped here. In the event, maybe we knew that event was going to happen on that planet and hopped back over here to Earth, or hopped over to Earth. Or like I said before, I speculated that maybe at one time, thousands of years ago, we were like a planet, 2 planets living at the same time. And then one of them knew it was going to be a hit. They said, okay, jump off that planet, jump over here. But then you go, why wouldn't they destroy this planet too? Because if they destroyed that planet, or they destroyed themselves, could have been new technologies, blew themselves to pieces. Who knows? Maybe they were just like this planet and we can't get along with each other. So we decided to just blow the other part of Mars up, meaning not us, but themselves did that. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's hard to tell, what could have happened in the past. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Scientific search for extraterrestrial, says Chris, and remember the reptiles on the gigapans of Mars. Yeah, they actually have that look, don't they? Like they look like a reptilian kind of thing. Now, I don't know if you guys were listening to Goof on it all, but I was listening to Rich on there, and he was talking about, I think it was David Icke, and I'm not a big fan of that theory, reptilians. Is it possible? Sure. You know, and they even say there's some maybe even here in Hollow Earth. I don't know that. What we can see is things that look mechanical and what look like structures in these photos. Now, some people do see like smaller beings. I don't see them. I'm not saying they don't exist, but maybe my brain's not wired that way, where I see more mechanical and I see, you know, like what looks structural. But all my life, I've either worked on cars or machines. I was a tool setter for 13 years. So maybe that's the reason I'm more hardwired that way, and that's why I see these things. And some people will go, that structure, you said it was a structure, it's actually an animal. I'm going, see, I don't see it that way. But that doesn't mean that their brains ain't wired a different way and they see it differently. This is the reason why I don't chop anybody down for having a difference of opinion. Because everybody may see things a little differently, or they won't see it at all. I mean, it is what it is, right? Oops. Where'd you go? I just saw. There you are. Inhabit Mars. Hey everyone, just got home. How's everybody doing? Getting a little better here. Just got home and trying to catch up. I'll be in and out for a few minutes. Sorry if I miss anyone. Oh, you're fine. Good to see you in there, man. Massa and Nissa. What's going on? Maybe we could just call you Mass. It'd be shorter, right? Hello, Chris. Hi to everyone. It's like a tongue twister, right? Massa Nissa. Jay McGuffey, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'll be intermittent tonight. Dogs are terrified of bonfire night. Yeah, that can happen. David Sowens, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. What's going on? I hope it's not Sowens. Am I pronouncing that wrong, or is it Sowens? Sowens? East Warden in Eden, he said, astro photos of the moon show it to be a really colorful place. It is actually more colorful than what NASA lets it to be on, you know, well, they lead to be on, because here's the thing. Every time you see it, most of the time it's what? Black and white. And there's so many whited areas that, yeah, you know, half of these things are, you know, being manipulated out of the photo. But funny enough, when you go into these black and white photos, and I mean black and white ones where everything's black and white, where you click upon Photoshop and it shows it as a RGB, meaning a colored photo. So you know as well as I do, they're not just black and white. They're just making them look like that. But they're just guessing, or they know, that the average person's not going to look into this. They don't care. They're just like, whatever, just throw it out there. They'll just fall for it. It's no big deal. Well, not everybody does. Let's see here. The G's views, he said, the way we are heading, time to go home. E.T. go home. Yep. Like I said, if you guys, I know maybe many of you guys are not into like hard rock, but if you go into like, listen to Disturbed, the song Another Way to Die, it's just another way to die. It pretty much shows at quick glances in there, like what we're doing to our planet, right? It shows like this, it's kind of cool how they show it like people who are living large, you know, they're like really cool. And after all of this takes place and we ruin the planet, now they're like scavenging through junk to eat. They're playing with a broken frisbee. They're just, everything's like completely decimated, complete garbage, what we've done to the planet. Really, really good video. You definitely have to check it out. Arts and Crafts, great question. He said, Chris, what kind of plants do you think grow on Mars? Just to theorize for fun. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. It could be anything just like a, it could be a moss type thing. Something, you know, something along the lines. Or maybe it's something that's, it depends on how you look at it. Maybe like a cactus where it doesn't need a whole lot of, you know, water and stuff to actually live, right? But I don't know. That's a great question. I think it'd be more, like I said, I predicted they're going to probably find like a kind of like a moss type thing, something indigenous to Mars, right? And they'll find it on there and be like, oh, we just found this between rocks. Imagine that. And, you know, and then they'll get bigger and bigger and they'll say, we found this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, of course, I'm hoping we'll be around enough to hear all this, but yeah. I'm not sure I've heard that one, Scientific Search for Extraterrestrial. Said, Chris, another good band is DRI. The song Acid Rain and an email from Tool. Okay, yeah. Yep. I have to check that one out. Or those out, rather. Antichrist. Oh, I love moss. I didn't even think of that. Well, I'm thinking it'd be something that would be, if they claim it's not pure water, meaning it's more brine, more salt content in water, then you would think not a whole lot of plants would grow at salt water, right? But like I said, if the roots go down far enough, and you got the soil, you got different layers of soil, it can pretty much be filtered out and be just regular water, right? Pretty close. So I don't know. Oh, you said DRI, I think, is thrash metal. See, I don't listen to that. I don't get into too much of that. There you go, Whitebeard Sky Daddy. So my family has decided that Friday evenings are automatically domino night, game night. But I will not be denied this fellowship with you guys. One earbud in, one high on the game. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Antichrist. Moss on Mars sounds like a good band name. A good tune, one of the two, right? I don't know. That's a good question, Mars League. He says, how do you think it smells on Mars? I don't know. That is a really great question. Well, because there's hardly any atmosphere, would you be able to smell much of it? I mean, the way they talk about it. I don't know. That's a great question. Wish I had the answer to that. What's going on there, Great for All? Good to see you in there, man. Said, just joined. Hello, everyone. Yes, Magsky, I've seen that years ago. He said, Chris, I watched a program on History Channel. All these biblical pictures have sources or flying vehicles in the sky. That's a telltale sign they've been here all along. Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, when you got it's supposed to be the Blessed Mary, you get this UFO and you get this beam of light coming through the window of the building, coming and like basically focused on her. You got the one that's supposed to be in that, I forget what country it's in, where I think it's the Blessed Mary, I'm not sure, but in the background you can see like a mountain hillside, and you see this little person with a dog when you can see it, and they're looking up at a UFO, and there's all different kinds of just signs that tell us they've been here for years. And they've probably been watching our progress all along. That's why I say, if there's UFOs today, and they're on our planet, they're just observing. Come on. You know, never mind these fear-mongering people like Elizondo and all these people. I believe it's kind of like, you remember, it's like they're all jumping on the bandwagon because now that the Pentagon released this, whoop, time to make money. Because this is what I don't get. It's kind of like, remember the big craze in the 80s? You had the, what was it, silly Oh, pet rocks. You had the Beanie Babies. Who decides that, hey, this battery ain't worth shit, but this one here, hold on, a little bit different, is worth millions if you get it because it has a gold star on it. Who decides that? I mean, it's silliness at its finest. And like I said, because the Pentagon decided to release this info, everybody's jumping on board with this. Everybody's an expert, you know, fear-mongering. I don't believe that's the case. If you were an alien race, and you mean nothing but good, meaning you're just observing the planet, trying to steer this planet in the right way, what reason would you have to destroy it? Unless, of course, we decided to attack you, then you say, okay, these are cockroaches. There's no point in trying to help these people out. Just go ahead and annihilate the planet and be done with it. Well, we've been warring with ourselves for how long now? But you'd be absolutely insane to actually fight something that can come out of the sky. It can beat anything you got that can fly. Technology so advanced. You'd probably be a little fearful of them. Even if you tried to shoot them down at one time and they just kind of laughed at you and said, oh, that's so cute. Look at the cute little weapon they've got. So you're more likely to say, well, we don't want to kill off the whole darn planet, so we need to thrive. So basically, we got to get on our knees and start doing a little butt kissing. So, you know, when they come out with this, oh, they're in our airspace, I get that if it's another country. That makes perfect sense. Because now you go, okay, if they got this kind of technology, they could take us out to like that anytime they want to. I'd be more worried that it was somebody on this planet, not something from outside the planet. What are your thoughts on that? What do you guys think? Good point. He said, that was a great question. The humidity in the air from the tsunami on Mars, I think, might affect the descent of any biology remaining wood microbial. Exactly, Julia. You know, it has a lot of variances, so there's really no way of really knowing. I mean, between, like you said, you know, between, like, the tsunami and all the stuff that might have happened, because they did say there's water that washed over this planet. And even NASA says that. These space agencies even say that. You know, the other thing I was thinking about, too, is they claim that it does get warm around the equatorial region. Now, they do say that there's X amount of water per square foot. Okay? So if it gets hot enough and there's enough water in there, you're going to have humidity, right? You're also going to have evaporation. And you get enough evaporation, you get moisture, and you get clouds in the sky. You get a vapor cloud. Well, it gets too heavy because it's so much evaporation, it turns to rain. There's your water cycle. So we do have a water cycle in there. They have already said that, at least in Gale Crater. And I don't believe they're going to say, well, that's the only place on the planet Mars that actually has one. I don't believe that. So, water cycle, blue sky, plenty of water. They're saying next to the South Pole and so on and so forth. And I believe there's, what do you call it, fresh water as well as brine. So let's put the pieces together. Oops. Renee V said, Mars anomalies and suspects. Wintertime here was just, forgot the hour earlier of live hangout, but all right with you guys. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're going to actually turn our clocks back Sunday. Saturday night, Sunday. So, yeah, well, at least we'll gain an hour, but that's only for the one day. But that'll be pretty sweet. What's going on, Stig? He said it definitely will be some idiot from this planet. Oh, almost guarantee it. That's why I don't go in for that BS about, you know, extraterrestrials in our airspace. I just don't believe that. At least as far as want to do the planet harm. If it's going to be anything, think about it. If you're a country who just built this, what would you do? You would show it off, you'd flex your muscle, but not do anything to these other countries. Just show, hey, look what I've got. Guess whose it is? And nobody'd be none the wiser except yourself. And you'd keep it quiet and say, okay, just, you know, they're thinking it's a drone. And I think that may be the case. I don't know. I mean, unless they did actually like perfect anti-gravitics, right? So if they did, then maybe a human being could be in there and be able to tolerate that kind of turning, right? Maybe. What do you guys think? somebody just said something here. What was that? Let's see. Great for All says, I'm more worried about China than aliens. There you go. Turklerin, pretty interesting. He said, aliens like marine life, so they are living in oceans. They could very well be. And I don't know about just the marine life, but I think it's a great place to hide, right? Go to the deepest oceans. How often do we go to the deepest oceans? We don't. Just we went down there to see if we can do it, like the Marianas Trench. Went down there, hey, we can do it. So, but how often do we go down there to these deepest oceans? We don't. So it'd be a perfect place to hide. This is the reason why you hear through our history in the past that they've seen these sources come out of the sky, come out of the water into the sky and back into it. It would not surprise me that there's cities down there. Not saying I can prove that, but it would not surprise me, right? I believe there is, Mimi. You said maybe there's some kind of space peace treaty, which we actually do have here on this planet. But the way they describe it is that we have it for ourselves, meaning we can't just stop war with each other. We can't have weapons out in space. Now, I think that goes for looking outward from Earth as well, meaning, in other words, we would not attack aliens, and maybe that's our agreement with them. I don't know. But we do actually have a space treaty out there. We do. Not to bring weapons out in space. Now, how many countries? It should be, every country should be honoring that. Now, will they? I don't know. Christine Ingram, he said, it's the idiots on this planet I am worried about and all of their weapons. One wrong word and the button will be pressed. Well, keep in mind, too, in this day and age, they know they'll kill themselves off, too. So I don't know if it would be done with a missile or an EMP or something of that sort. Think about it. That's why you hear a lot of military saying, well, we're actually protected. Like they're building their military equipment and it's being, basically shielded from any EMP. Think about it. If there's a large EMP and it hit this side of the Earth, let's say Canada and the United States, well, it'd be perfect. It'd be like other countries would be going, yeah, they're knocked out. They got no technology. Everything's going. Let's go get them. Well, military is not going for that. They'll have, they'll be basically, like I said, shielded towards any kind of EMPs. So they would still function, which is a good thing, right? Phil C., thank you again, sir, for your support. I do appreciate you. He said it comes down to NASA knows what's on Mars. If they show little bits at a time, ensures future funds. They'll give the big info only if funds dwindle or if someone else starts to beat them to it. Yeah, because then they'd be like, no, we found this first, right? Yeah, so it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know if the actual other people like Congress or the people that are giving them the money, right? Are they showing them their fines in order to get fundings? I don't think so. But they are saying, probably pumping up, saying, yeah, we've found at least this now, the organic molecules. Oh, yeah. So we're making progress here. We're doing. So this is the reason why they're getting this. So, yeah. This is the reason why they're getting their funds. James Cragen, thank you very much, sir, for your support as well. As always. So, Chris, Mars vid today. You are right with the motion, the flare behind the object in the sky, and the dome-shaped rock has plenty of unnatural anomalies. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I mean, like I said, they have this thing about either making an area super dark, where I've done videos where it shows like a real dark area, brighten up, there's all kinds of crazy stuff in it. Like one of them had that hillside and it was completely dark there. Once you brighten it up, there's crap everywhere laying there. Absolutely. Or make it super bright. Let's hide the lines. Let's hide all the individual pieces. So you can only bring out a partial area of these things, right? That's basically what it comes out to. So, yeah. John Shabby said, Chris, China smashed satellites with a laser. Was that their own, though? They were just probably tried to test this at the same time and took out one of their own. Isn't that what happened? I'm trying to remember if it was. Alien Tenno, what's going on? I didn't even see you creep in there. He said, Star Trek Into Darkness movie. Nibiru. The Enterprise hiding underwater. Big clue. Yeah, that's true. I think it could be done just as easy. If a craft has to be airtight to go out into space, it'd have to be mutually or just as much airtight or watertight, wouldn't it? And if it's anti-gravitics, or they say they can build they can make like a bubble around them so there's like really no resistance, then they can travel anywhere they want to safely. Outer space, here underwater, doesn't really matter. Jay McGuffey said there's a few shining surfaces on that mountain. Oh yeah, absolutely. Bush Corey, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Dirty D. No, you can't have weapons out in space because space doesn't exist. Well, it actually does, but yeah. But they're not going to allow to have it anyway. Even if it was in lower orbit, Earth orbit, no, it's a no-no. That's probably what, I mean, how do we know that Mars wasn't kind of set up like we are, right? Where back in the 80s we had the Star Wars project. How do we know that they didn't have lasers and, you know, maybe missiles on a satellite somewhere? And that's what got blown up in their orbit at the time. Think about it. The nuclear explosions weren't on the ground. They were in their lower atmosphere. So how do we know that didn't take place somehow? Pure speculation, but how do we know? John Sharp, said, Stike Command here in England changed the bunker toilet springs regularly and built hundreds and thousands for it, and no one used them. Yeah. Well, I mean, like they always joke about, you know, like a toilet seat cover costs like, you know, $3,000 or something ridiculous. Why is it always something that's military always costs like out the rear end? Well, because it's got to be precise. It's got to be precise measurements, this, that, you know, whatever. I find that silly as hell. Cloud 33 Studios says one of Russia's most esteemed military leaders just came out and saying 60% of UFOs come from the ocean and 15 from lakes. Interesting. Very interesting. Obi-san, what's going on? You said smash that like button. I did. Smash it. And by the way, hello to the other 2 thumbs down. Good to see you in there. Oh yeah. Oops. Hate it when that does that. Rock Hitch, you said Earth will end up like Mars. Let's hope not, man. That'll suck. Maurice Faulkner, he said UFOs enter the water without making a splash. Like that video they had. Remember they were saying like it was right off the side of one of the battleships, one of our warships, and that thing was up above the water, just went down and nothing. Which I find hard to believe that they wouldn't even make some kind of wave, even if it's not a huge splash, right? It's just weird how even if you have a bubble that's around you, you have to displace water somehow so that it's ahead of the craft you're in. It has to displace water, so it has to make waves. It has to do something, right? Mimi React, she said that would explain many of the UFO sightings back in the 40s and 50s. Yep. Sorry, Dirty D, I can't go there. That's just crazy. Been there, been that round before with the flat Earth stuff. Not doing it here. You know, you need to do your own research and check this stuff out. I promise you. Stop watching like Eric Douchebay and all these other idiots out there that believe, you know, they want to be like these gods of this flat Earth stuff. Yeah, I went round and round with him before, and instead of him trying to correct me and say, no, this is the real proof, no, they just had their cronies come out and attack me. It's like, no, I'm not going with that. And I've over and over again, I went back and forth proving that, you know, Earth is not flat and all that other garbage. Nope. Wizard of Gore says, hi, folks. What's going on, Wizard? Ian said, hey, everyone. What's going on? Let me see. This thing clearly jumped on me because somebody was saying something. Okay, Phil's taking off too. Good night, all, he says. I have to get up at 4 a.m. Be good to people and you'll get good in return. Takes a couple tries. LOL, you're right about that. All right, Phil. Hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate your support, brother. Thanks for, you know, just hanging out with us and talking. Have yourself a good weekend yourself. Don't work too hard there, right? I know how you feel. Again, work tomorrow. Oh, yeah. The scientific search for extraterrestrials says capitalism is destroying the world. No, actually douchebags are. And that's the sad part of it. I said this before. Let's forget about all of the, because I don't want to get into all of this, whether it's religions or, you know, politics and political BS. It's about people when you really come down to it. Let's work for the greater good. Let's work for mankind and actually become the human race instead of warring race with this one and that one and the other. Let's, you know, recognize each other as a human being instead of, oh, he's from that country, or he's a different color, or he's this, or he's that. Stop. Just stop. It's just insane how people are. It's like, just learn to live with yourselves first. And if you can live with each other, maybe we've got a chance. Maybe. Mike Knapp, there you go. Sorry, zoned out for a bit, then playing Assassin's Creed with my daughter. Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Great for all. He said, I live very close to Lake Ontario, and I see weird light above the lake all the time. Huh. Would not surprise me. Mars Lake, he said, maybe we'll end up like Mars if Musk puts nukes in that Starlink. No, I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm glad you brought that up because you guys see the new phone he's going to be putting out? It's called the, I don't know if it's going to be, it's going to be a Tesla, what do you call it, Pi phone instead of the iPhone, Pi, which I think is pretty interesting. But what they said was once they make this phone, it's going to be able to interact with your car, obviously. And, of course, they do have phones already. You can use your own app for your Tesla anyway. But it's also going to be integrated with your the Starlink, you know, your internet. And it was funny because I was watching this video and they were talking about that particular phone. But they also got into the Starlink. Now, if you remember, I think it's supposed to be the end of this year or beginning of next, one of the two. But it's supposed to be real soon, where all of the links, meaning all the little satellites, are going to be all around the Earth and it's going to be completed. So they were saying that they're going to be able to use that link as well, because it's all around the Earth. It doesn't matter when the Earth is turning, you're still going to be able to link to Mars at any given time. And if they have a quick enough, you know, maybe it's quantum communications, you'll be able to use an actual cell phone on Mars to here. Now, I think that's a little too far-fetched at the moment, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. You can always have a delay in there. It's like even back in the day. Remember when you had like the other phones? We had like a walkie-talkie feature. You can, yeah, what's going on? And it was pretty much instamatic, but that's because it's right here on the planet. But even if he was like, yeah, what's going on? And it's a couple of seconds delay, who cares? People wouldn't mind being able to talk that way either way, because you're like still talking with your home planet. And because there's a link all the way around the Earth, doesn't matter which way the Earth turns, there'll be a link with it regardless. So there's a lot of things that he's looking to integrate with the phone, not just, you know, just have them separate like Starlink satellite and all this other stuff. So pretty interesting. Wizard, you said, but why we have no video from spinning Earth, a real video? We do. Look at the ISS live feed. It's spinning, and so isn't the ISS. It's moving. Three to one, Catbox, New York. What's going on? Waving a hand. What's going on there? Good to see you in there. Obi-san, and he said, what got me was when you first talked about the river the Rover was following, blew my mind, how clean as day and it was then. Well, keep in mind, I think I talked about it, but I think it was the real Jimmy Roberts that really talked about the main one. So I don't know if you're talking about either one of mine or his, which either way, you know, we both had pretty much done the same thing, either a river or you can see where a river comes down, but mostly, you know, you'll see me doing like either, you'll see mechanical parts and you'll see structures and things of that nature that they're trying to scrub out of these photos, right? What's going on there, Big Gust? He said, got to head out. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend and love you all. And stay safe. All right, Mick, you do the same thing. Thanks for being here. Have yourself a great weekend there, right? Maurice Faulkner, he said that they can alter the molecule structure of matter in time and space, hence pulling abductees through the roof of their houses. Yeah, I mean, it might be just something as simple as just like, almost like being in like, what is like the Star Trek, you know, transporter, like just right through. I love this page where it says, here's how scientists figure out the age of the universe. And of course, there's two ways. To estimate the age of the universe, scientists rely on two main methods, calculating the expansion rate of the universe and determining the ages of the oldest stars. My question has always been, when they look out to a certain area out in space, they can see, like I said, with red drift, they can see the planets going outward. If you're on the other side of the Earth looking in a different direction into the universe, do you see it expanding too? That wouldn't make sense, meaning if you're seeing it expanding away from Earth, because then you would think the Earth is the center of the universe, which it is not. So is it just all going away in a certain direction, whether you live on the other side of Earth or on this side of Earth? If you're seeing it moving out in every direction, or if is it moving out this way and also looking out, it moves in the same direction, Is it just expanding, or is it just moving through the vastness of the void of space? Is it just all moving instead of moving just outward one direction? Or is it the whole bunch of it, kind of like a solar system moves throughout the universe, right? Is the whole universe in the vastness, like I said, of black space, you know, just the whole thing just moving? How do we know? Hell, for all we know, there could be more universes than us. We don't know. Again, we're trying to find answers, but I don't think we quite know. And it's going to be a long time before we actually see that. Determining the ages of older stars. Okay. So the oldest star, like I said before, would probably be the one in the very outer, if it is, in fact, the Big Bang. Boom, it starts. Whew, everything that went outward is now, like I said, the oldest star. And then, of course, inward would be the newest ones as they expanded, right? So we would be one of the youngest, well, compared to the others way out there, I would think. So how would they know that if they haven't actually seen the very end or the very tip of where the planets stop? How do we know? We can guess. And how do we know that? Because of the size of the planet, it could vary. Let's say you got two planets on the very edge. When I call edge, I mean where all the planets pretty much stop and they're all just in this particular area. Then it's nothing but space after that. If there's a very large one, very tiny one, which one's closer? How do you know the difference? From way out there, we're talking millions and millions of light years away. How do we know which one is closer? Is this one really bigger, but it's further out? Or is this one really a lot bigger and this one's... Yeah. I'm sure there's a formula for that. I get it. But, you know, I don't think we're just merely just saying scientists this is the best method we came up with to measure this. So therefore, this is the best understanding we have. And I don't knock that, but I don't think we truly know. You know what I mean? Yeah, Obi-san, you said the blown sand never really looked right to me. And it's not. It's actually put there. It's actually photoshopped into it. Like a lot of the blurring, you see like literally squares of blur on certain objects, or the whole darn area, like where they want to take the details out, right? I'll jump all the way down here. See, this thing keeps skipping around on me anyway. That's a great question, Mars Leaks. You said, could a U.S. citizen sue NASA for doctoring images and obfuscating evidence of vanished civilizations on both the moon and Mars? It's a great question. I think it would take something a little bit more than just one person. It'd have to be a serious lawyer to be involved too. And you'd have to have other people actually backing you to do that. Ian, you said, anyone else feel like time is speeding up? Yeah, for crying out loud, it's almost friggin', it's almost December already. And it's like, before you know, it's like, what? It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? going on, Kev Mack? You said, Chris, the hill that you showed today looks so freaky and cool. The Xbox 360 controller looking thing above the hill, I think, is a camera remote control that takes pictures. Where did it go? From above. That thing is in. I don't know. I mean, because they have said that it is an actual artifact of the front Hazcam. And that's pretty much almost been like that since it landed, since the Curiosity landed. I mean, it was a little bit of time after. Then all of a sudden, it's just boom, this weird thing just happened to be there. So I don't know. You would think an artifact would be like a burnt, pixel or some kind of other little spot on there. But this thing actually looks like you said, it looks like a weird controller, like a little UFO. I don't know. Mike Knapp, you're taking off. You said good night, everyone. All right, man. You have a good one. Be safe. And I think you said you're actually playing a game there with your daughter. So have a good night. Which one are you talking about, Mimi? You said, Chris, what's your thoughts about the asteroid with the pyramid on top? You talking about Bennu? Is that the one you're talking about? I don't know that it does, John. You said, Chris, the moon has clouds. How come? I don't know that it does, but I heard there is moisture on the moon, because obviously there's water, but I mean in the air itself. Most of it's frozen in these craters, of course, in the South Pole, North Pole, in other colder areas, because the moon is cold. Well, yes and no, because there are, the sun does actually hit it. But, yeah, I don't know that there is, but I know that they said that there was, like, actual, like I said, moisture on the moon. Yeah, I noticed that too, Alien Tenno. You said the drone pics soon dried up. Yeah, imagine that, huh? What's going on, Eric Bauer? Good to see you in there. Tony Gibbs, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. Let's see. Blue Flasher says just theories that get thrown in. No one really knows the nature of the universe. And I don't think, I think maybe in the immediate, meaning as far as they can see really well, and I mean with like the James Webb, and you're talking about the Hubble, which incidentally the Hubble had issues just recently as well. So that's not good. We were just talking about the solar storms earlier, which that one they were supposed to have hit yesterday, I believe it was. Supposed to be on the 4th, I believe. Solar storm from Cannibal Sun eruption may impact power grid and bring auroras as far south as Pennsylvania. So yeah, and this was 1 day ago this was posted, so I think it was supposed to be yesterday, yeah. The government agency tasked with monitoring space weather has warned that a powerful solar storm could interfere with power grid, satellites, and radio signals, although it might also have sent the beautiful northern lights incredibly far south overnight into Thursday, November 4th. So obviously it would have been Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, I mean, and they're talking about CMEs, which is a coronal mass ejection rather. So yeah, I mean, this is nothing new. This stuff happens all the time. Let me just do this. I just have to read it. Last time I played sound, they actually said, oh, you can't do that, it's copyright. So, but there it is there, you can watch it. Great for all. You said, why no new pictures of Phobos in the monument on Phobos? Well, see, that's the thing. You only caught that one time where you had, it showed the monolith, and of course you show the moon. There's some pictures of the moon, but even that's doctored up big time. It's absolutely crazy. You can see down here on the lower one on this blue screen right here, you can see where the actual, see that it flares right out and goes just, the major part of it goes just above Earth. And you can see that on this very right on the bottom one, where you can see that thermal imaging. There you go, 3-to-1 cat box. Sun farts. Gotta love it. But yeah, that's always fun. Oh, let me see here. And Wizard of Goria history. We're not going to sit there and talk to other people like that. I'm not going to do it. And for crying out loud, go check. Go really do some research into real Earth, not flat Earth, please. Stop. It's one thing to like kind of put your opinion in it because that's what you believe, or you're just trolling, but you're not going to sit there and attack other people. It's not going to happen. What you guys don't know is that it was actually hidden. It was actually screened because of the way I've got the, let me get comfortable here, the way I've got these filtered out where, you know, if people start getting stupid and talking aggressive and everything else, it just automatically filters them out and holds their comment for, basically for me to look at it, right? Tony Gibbs, you said it could be could just be a cover story for the HARP test from the Tundra base. Well, it could very well be. HARP is, you know, it started off innocent enough, but it's basically a weapon if they wanted to be, you know? There's so many uses for it. Alien Tenor said, yeah, the Hubble had a hiccup at the moment to look at some asteroid. Yeah, of course it did. Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, because it actually has, I'm trying to think, right here. Hubble remains in safe mode after latest glitch. So I basically went into safe mode because it's having some issues. It says issues with its instruments is likely to remain out of service for another week as engineers investigate the problem. Sure did. Yeah, I know. I kind of laugh at that too. I'm not saying that's not true, but I find it interesting that, you know, just recently, well, wait a minute, you know, Mars is actually in, I think it's Perlian, I think when they talk about it's on the opposite side. You go Earth, Sun, you know, of course, Mars. But that was down for, what, a week or two. Now this is down. It's like, I mean, they can tell you anything, and of course the public's got to go, okay. I mean, we have no reason not to believe you, but, and they could very well be telling the truth here, but knowing what's been going on lately, who knows? Whitebeard Sky Dairy. Think of the sucker firing up and melting stone like over in Egypt and even in Scotland. Yeah, that would be pretty powerful. Turkle, when you said they discovered a planet the size of Saturn, I guess distance 28 million years ago, or light years, I'm sorry, million light years, short calculation, 55,000 years. With space, okay. So they say no life possible there. How do they know that? Our kind of life as we know it? Organic life here on Earth as we know it? How do they know? They say, well, it's nothing more than a poisonous planet. For who? For who? Like I said, if you and I went on a poisonous planet, instant death. For something else, maybe it can live there. Maybe it evolved, you know, whatever, to live in that kind of atmosphere. Who knows? Maybe flat earthers in their alu hats. I know what you mean, aluminum foil, right? Yeah, I mean, like I said, and Jay, you said this. You said respect to flat earthers, but not trolls. I mean, I respect their opinions based on if they had done their own research. Like I said, I went round and round with these guys before. This is when I first started this channel as well, going back and forth with these big channels that were supposed to be flat earthers. I'm going, please, you know, I was big into, my hobby was FTA, free-to-air satellite, and I had a 10-foot satellite dish. I had a 30-inch KU band dish, and then I decided to get what they call a LNB, low noise block, which is, it's basically a receiving antenna, right? And of course it just reflects off the dish and onto that LNB. And I got the combo, which is C-band and KU, so I could whack 30 satellites and just go across the arc and just go back and forth. So yeah, flat earthers, there is other satellites out there. And, you know, this is how I proved it. But anyway, so I could go around and, you know, just scan the skies. And of course, as long as you had an azimuth right and everything was right and tilt and all that other good stuff, you got a good signal. It could pour like there's no tomorrow. I've had it come down in a sheet of rain, never interfered with that satellite signal. You can't do it on a small one. Think about that. But, you know, absolutely, you know, these people need to do their own research. Stop listening to these other skid marks trying to tell them, oh, it's not real because look, just because you're building your argument to, you know, project that onto your subs doesn't mean it's true. If you do real research, you'll find this out. Person, you look at this, you said, I says, I think in the TV show Stargate Universe, the ship would skim the surface of a star to recharge, use its radiation to recharge. The ship Destiny did it. Yeah, I believe you're right. And that may be just a simple way they do it. It just maybe has like a receiving antenna, just sucks this stuff into it, like almost like a super technological jumper cables kind of thing. It just charges this thing instantly. Who knows, right? Tony Gibbs, you said, we have bacteria that lives in boiling acid on Earth. So where is no life? Well, and that's the question. I mean, we've got things swimming around, like I said before, in the deep oceans where you've got these volcanic vents. The water is around these vents is extremely hot and, of course, poisonous, and yet these things live there. You know, listen, life will find a way. It's as simple as that. So for them to say, oh, yeah, it's impossible, bull, I don't believe that for a moment. $321 Catbox, you said I did FTA and pay Big Dish, also pirate. Oh yeah, I've done that too. Both Dish and ExpressView. Bell ExpressView, that is. Yeah, Steve Garnham, you're right. Extremophiles can live anywhere. Absolutely. Julie, you said, I feel Venus is the next hot location to look for evidence of pre-human. This go around, structures, etc. Skid like that, huh? Skid marks. Yeah, I mean, I think they're even sending, that's one of the next missions. They're supposed to be sending a probe, lander, or something to Venus. So, not that they haven't flown by there, and I think, I'm trying to remember if there was an actual lander already there. Gotta sift through the cobwebs in my mind. But yeah, I'm almost positive they already had something there, but they want new studies, new technology, new instruments, more precise, you know, so could very well be. Blue Flash, he said, if Earth was flat, where's the edge? Shh, you'll fall right off of it. You don't want to go that far. Go easy. Like, nobody in the planes ever went, hey, there's the edge of the Earth right there. Let's just swing back around before we go out into space. Come on. Come on. People don't just use common sense here. Jay McGuffey said, yeah, tardigrades are extremely simple but hardy beings. Yeah, those are the ones that China put on the moon. So, and like I said, they had them in these little test tubes. I don't know if you heard about that because we talked about this before. Where they had like plants. There was like a little mini greenhouse. And I think they had these things in a tube. And somehow when their lander kind of crashed, it broke open. So there's actually tardigrades up there. So, yeah. And they're like an extremophile. Those things can live in crazy places. Alien antenna. Yeah, that's what they're finding. There's life forms in space itself. Yep. James Cragen said, Chris and everyone tonight, if we all get a chance to check out the videos from people who are taking pictures and vids of the volcano in Palmas recently and see the strange things happening around it. Yeah, I know, I've seen that. There was one that I think there's a video I saw at a glance where it said there was like, it looked like UFO activity, like high above the actual clouds, right, being emitted from it. Yeah, I was trying to remember, Steve, if that was the Russians that actually did that on Venus, where, if that's the same one I'm thinking about, you can see where the lander is, and they get this weird piece right next to it saying, oh my God, it's alien. It's a coupler from the actual lander. Stop. And some people want to make a big deal out of it. It's nothing out of the ordinary. You got to remember, that thing, when it come down, it probably had a piece broke off the darn thing, for all we know. And you can see it looks like a half of a coupler. It has holes in it on each end. You usually have another half that holds something in place. So you have like two bolts, and then it either clamps down on something, or another half is the same way and has like a shaft type thing it can hold in place. It's basically a coupler bracket type thing. Glenn Judd, I agree with you. Said Earth is flat. Oh, brain dead, Chris. No common sense. You got that right. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was the what's the Soviet Union at the time, wasn't it, Julia? But either way, that thing I think still functioned for a while because you said, well, it's 18 seconds, but they actually got enough information and photos to where you can see. I've done a video on that a long time ago, I think, where I've looked at some of these photos, and they're absolutely, even back then, they were, censored in some way or form, where it looked like some supposed to be rocks, and the way they had these little details on them didn't make any sense. So, yeah, some pretty crazy stuff. Even the pictures they've taken on the moon and stuff, right? All right. Astronomers target habitable exoplanets, black holes, and inclusivity as top priorities for next decade. A new big space telescope is also on the list for the latest decadal survey. Ooh. We now have a rough sketch of what is next, or what the next decade could bring in astronomy and astrophysics. Excuse me. Let me see. Today, November 4th, the U.S. National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine released a decadal survey laying out scientific priorities and funding recommendations for the next 10 years. The document, called Pathways to Discovery in Astronomy and Astrophysics for the 2020s, identifies three top line items the disciplines should concentrate on: the discovery and study of habitable exoplanets, the exploration of black holes and neutron stars as windows to the early universe, and better understanding of the origin and evolution of galaxies. It also stresses the importance of making astronomy a more inclusive and diverse field. Sure, So all the things they do see out in space that may be the most important step for mankind, or the most important thing, is like completely left out. Yeah. So let's be a little more diverse, shall we? To the public, that is. Tony Gibbs, you said the government doctors everything we get, or they get rather, I'm sorry, their hands on before us. It's not original. Hard to trust these days. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Turklerin, good question. You said we humans see only little things and miss big things. Venus, just looking around, Landa, why they are not landing on the ice area? Well, I mean, again, it doesn't matter what planet it is. Like, let's use Venus. There's still a Goldilocks zone on that planet. Now, you do have, like you were just saying, why aren't they in the icy areas, North and South Pole? If you go towards the pole, there's actually ice there. And then people go, how is that possible? Well, it's very possible. And if you get between there and the hottest part, which is extremely hot, I think it was like 800 something degrees. But the closer you get, you can actually get in like a Goldilocks zone. But here's the thing, like we were talking about earlier. How do we know there's not a civilization living on that planet? People go, you can't. There's no way. The atmosphere, the heat, underground. Simple as that. Maybe they don't eat the foods we do, because people would say, well, what do they eat there? I don't know. But that doesn't mean they couldn't exist. There could be life forms under the actual ground there, meaning living. Because they just said, too, not long ago, that, scientists have actually found things in our own Earth's crust that are alive. You go, well, how is that possible? Well, it's very possible. I mean, you got microbial life living on other things on the ground, and same thing with organic molecules, and same thing. Life finds a way, and it'll adapt to its surroundings. It evolves. Yes, Julia, yeah, 1960s, the Venera 3. Now keep in mind they had more than one Venera lander. They had other ones as well. But Venera 3 Soviet space probe crash landed on Venus, becoming the first spacecraft to reach the surface of another planet. Sister craft burned up on entry, yes. Because they were trying to send multiple ones there. Now, did they ever stop? Because they know they failed, right? Because they get the instruments telling what happened. It's probably like a troubleshooting computer, say, for the next mission. So when they go there, one lands, of course it doesn't last very long, and it just goes to crap. But they did take some photos and send it back, which is kind of weird. So they made the equipment robust enough to withstand the temperatures and send this information back, but it died. I don't know. They could have made this equipment out of titanium or something extremely hard where it can deal with it for even longer than that, because I believe it was longer than that. 18 seconds, think about it. Snapshots, put it into basically a memory, then send it into a radio, basically, because to transmit this information back to Earth. So 18 seconds is an awfully short time to be able to do that. Now, I don't believe that's the case, but I do believe it probably did burn up, and that's pretty much it. But they probably got the information they needed. They said, okay, well, we know what part of the craft failed first because of the instruments died. This one died first, this one doesn't. So how do we know that they didn't say, okay, why don't we land this thing, or build it too before we land it, to be more robust, and we can actually land on that planet and make it last much longer, right? I'm sure they could do it. I'm sure they could. Alien Tenor, you said, for every one probe that's sent, there's two covert ahead of it. Well, yeah, I mean, it's almost like they're doing their missions themselves, right? They're kind of like, send out these private missions, right? And then we're going to act like, oh, we're just going for the first time, we're going to this planet, maybe the moon or Mars, or whatever it may be. All in all, they've already said, okay, we already sent these failed, so now we want to look good because we want to get paid from wherever we're getting our money from, whether it's Congress or wherever. So this one here, we're going to hope it works because the other two failed, and we've made improvements, so here we go. And of course it does make it, lands, whatever, whether it be Earth, Moon, whatever. And they go, yeah, we made it there, so we're going to do more studies. So can you please give us some more money? A couple, maybe 8 trillion would be nice. Or 8 billion, you know, we just need a little extra cash. But you know as well as I do, unless they're paying off people who are in the know, and I'm talking about people that are in these, like, not so much the elites, but maybe a little lower, the people that are giving them this money, I personally believe they're stealing now from these countries. Your space agency are just taking it from the people's money. Because at one time, NASA would bank on you, like, basically donating to help out the space program. They don't do it anymore. When did you ever see them say, hey, you know, donate to this to help us do that? Yeah. They just go, we'll just go ahead and take that. We don't care about the deficit. It'll be all right. So we'll just take what we need, and that's it. So you get this black ops crap going on, and they're doing the studies, and maybe the people who are giving them the money and looking the other way are saying, this is what we found, so we need X amount of dollars. Go ahead and take it. So I didn't see a thing. So how do we know? Somebody has to get, it's like if you set out to do some kind of startup program, like a business, the people that you want to invest, you better impress them. So here we go. So if you impress them, they go, okay, I'm impressed with your work, here's some money. And rightfully so. But if you're not producing that money, or what they want to hear and see, you're not getting the cash. It's as simple as that. Great question, Steve. He said, how did the parachute survive on the surface of Venus? That's a very good question. I think what happened was it was built only to last for a short time. Because I don't believe that, because well, here's the thing. When you're going to Venus, right, I forget how it is, like you could be so many feet or thousands of feet, whatever, hundreds of feet, whatever it is, off the actual surface where it's safe. You would not burn up. So in other words, maybe they've just figured out, well, once we get to this part, before you land on Venus, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. All of a sudden, extremely hot, we can just land it and it'll probably just burn up. So they probably calculated that, or maybe it's not as hot as they say it is. I don't know. It's a great question. I've often pondered that myself. Mimi Reaction said, Chris, I am totally on board with NASA sending private missions into space. Yeah, I love the idea of it. But let the people know, right? It's kind of like, I think we deserve to know. I want to know what's going on out there. I want to know what's happening. So why not? Tell the people. But you notice every time they go to these places, it's either, you know, either some moons are completely, like you'll see like pretty clear area and then the rest of it's blurred out. Why not just show the whole darn planet? What's the big deal? Was it Titan, I think, that had the screenshots of it? Like they had the whole moon. And it was like a section, a rectangular section of pretty decent. When I say decent, I'm saying like a 5 out of a 10 being excellent. 5. And it was like somewhat quality. The rest of it was completely blurred out. Why? There's nothing to see on this moon. Just like, why are you doctoring anything to do with the moon photos or Mars? They're just, the moon is nothing but a cold ball of dirt. What's the point? Why do anything with the Mars photos when they're raw photos and it's just a dead barren planet with some little dust and maybe some brine, you know, to go along with it? Okay, now what? Why are we centering out a photo that's supposed to be nothing on the planet? It should be completely crystal clear photos. You know, you can see if there's anything on the ground, rocks with clarity, no blurring, no nothing going on, but yet we see that. So clearly, if you've got to hide something, and I used a small analogy before, I said, it's like if you want to sell your car on Craigslist, most people would block out their license plate with their fingers so people don't try to like call them up and scam them somehow. Because they'll find out your plate number, and then they find out, oh, I know where this, I can look up the plate, know what state it's in, who has that plate. Yeah, the list goes on. So you see people, and it's just as simple as that. You don't want people to know, you block it out. It's as simple as that. So, and Habitable said, yeah, watch Anton Petrov. Yeah, he's actually Petrov rather. He's I like his videos. He's pretty cool. Where scientists are experimenting with new materials to design chips and equipment that can withstand a lot higher heat than silicone from probes to Venus. Oh, no doubt. But why struggle so much to get there to look at Venus? Think about it. It's almost like they know, listen, we see stuff on our own moon. Clearly there's stuff on Mars. There's probably a whole bunch of stuff because they said, Titan. They looked at Titan. They said, oh, well, there's stuff on there. We probably have an idea to do a flyby by Venus, probably seen something. Okay, we need to get to that. Wait a minute, we have a bit of an issue. We can't get there without it like melting everything on it. Wait a minute, why don't we do that? Why go through the struggles of it if it's nothing on the planet? It's basically an oven. So why bother? Unless there's something to be found or there's some kind of information they want for it. They want to make sure maybe that there was nothing on the planet or at one point. I don't know. Great for All said the people are traditionally the last to know. John Sharp, my youth was blurred. Yeah, that happens. Fly right by, don't it? Oh, I believe you're right, Mimi. I've said this more than once. I believe Mars, that's all it is, are recon missions going on there. He said many of the missions might be recon. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you at some point. Look at this. You said because the acid would basically eat it up. Well, yeah, but they also have metals that are impervious to that, right? And I don't know if it's that concentrated to do that, but let's say it is. They have materials that can withstand that. Even if they got it there long enough to where it started to deteriorate the craft, they would still get enough information out. And I know that thing probably lasted longer than they're saying. Who knows? What's going on, Juxtabilly? Good to see you in there. John Chavez said, Chris and everyone, I got to roll. I've got work in the morning soon. Thanks, everyone. See you next Tuesday. Totally exhausted. Be cool, be safe, and relax, everyone. Thunberg wishes to all. All right, man. Have yourself a good one. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Like we were just discussing, you said not only 800 degrees Fahrenheit, but a serious acid atmosphere. I mean, we have to go by what NASA tells us, right, and all these other space agencies. But we also believe the same thing about Mars. It's red sky. No water. Remember they originally said that? Maybe the only time I ever heard anything about water was brine, and it was only so much parts per 3 meters, I think they were talking about, which is like 10 feet, right? So you had to go by what they're telling you. Now we're seeing things in pictures that totally contradict what they've said. So do you still believe everything they tell you about Venus and every other planet and moon? I don't, but that's just me. I think at this point, I think we're all a bit dubious about it because here's the thing. It's like, they lied left and right, so why would you believe them now? Jerry Lahane, what's going on? He said, I've guessed that other dimensions could allow advanced people to live under Venus. Not that likely, though since heat would be trapped no matter what. Well, I mean, to a certain degree, if there's not much of an atmosphere, meaning something that's holding in this heat, right? And I forget the rotation of Venus, where I forget it's longer, I believe it's a lot longer than Earth. So it would get hot, and then it would cool down. But still, underground, you'd be protected. So, and if you have to be there for such a time, meaning you're in the direct sun, then you're fine underground. And then if you go to the other side, where it's coolest and not facing the sun, you could probably come out, do what you got to do, go back in. It's kind of like that, what is it? Well, not like that, but they had that movie, what was it, 30 Days of Night, I think it was, which was basically up either Alaska or wherever it was. It's kind of like a horror movie with a creature or whatever, but they do actually have 30 days of night and, what was it, 6 months? 6 months, rather. 6 months of daytime, 6 months of nighttime. Am I correct on this, guys, or am I wrong? You guys can correct me. But the thing is, it's like if you can do that, then you can, listen, living underground, it's like here, you could be in the most extreme weather conditions, as long as you're underground, a certain feet underground, you're protected. Stays a constant, right? Whitebeard Sky Daddy, it's funny. I'm having the most mundane human conversation and far out Mars conversation in my right ear. I hate when this thing jumps me here. Well, it depends on what you mean, Turkle. When you said, are you okay, Chris? Moon, I can't let you see why it is too much there. Even with a telescope, you can see it. Well, I'm saying if you look at the photos like the Apollo missions, right, where when they're looking at something like in a direction of hills, supposedly, they're not hills. So what do? They kind of center them out, white them out, and everything else, when clearly this thing's right in front of these astronauts. It makes it look like they're looking at the hills and stuff like a big, like they're looking at the hills from a distance, when it's not that at all. There's literally stuff right next to them, hidden right in the photo. So that's what I mean by that. Now, you yourself could get your own telescope and do that, but to a certain degree, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of anything. Now, you will, but not like you would see from the Apollo missions, whether they're in the capsule heading back, or the lander heading back to the capsule, or on the ground, right? What's going on, Phil Cox, and with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown? I didn't see you jump in there, man. Mimi Reaction said, Chris, they know it's there. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Daniel, what's going on? Daniel Webster says the moon pictures, in my opinion, were so overexposed and over-brightened, it was really criminal, and the Mars raw photos are not raw. Yeah, exactly. They're doing this stuff purposely. So, again, let's say they're not as technologically advanced back in the Apollo days. They just take one, just over, like you said, overexpose this one, and then I'll set the camera properly and get the exact photo so we can see this. So now the one that's overexposed, we can just take out whatever we want, or because it's overexposed, we don't need to do that. So, and then of course they use acetate over these normal photos and then just block out whatever they want. Then they retake the photo and hand it off to the public. So they can block out whatever they want, and they have been since the dawn of time, since either, whether it be flybys, Apollo missions, they started from there, haven't stopped. Pete Ferrero said NASA stopped going to the moon after Apollo 7 because public disinterested. But the money didn't stop. They just kept mission secret. Yeah, I guarantee they have. And they went, like you said, Apollo 17, according to the public, was the last one, right? But I think you and I and everybody here knows that it was much more than that. I guarantee there's probably a base and a half up there right now. Look at this, says the military wanted the people disinterested in the mission so they can make them covert. Yeah, they'll just go, well, people just don't care anymore. Okay, good. We'll just go ahead and discontinue this. That's the last mission. And then kept going. Except I think they used different craft, much better technology, and just refined their equipment and just still kept going. Like I said, if they wanted to build a base, how would you do that? You'd have to have something with a cargo area. Like I said, the space shuttles, which actually built, they sent out in space to build the ISS. Again, you're already an astronaut, you're breathing inside the suit, you got your own atmospherics, you go, you got a shuttle right there with all kinds of, well, it's got a good size, well, not huge, but it's got areas big enough to bring parts there and slowly build it. That's all they need. Doesn't have to be anything huge. And of course, they've, the rockets themselves could be, and they make it a little bit bigger or put more fuel in there. As long as you can, remember how they used to piggyback it with a 747, the first Enterprise, where they took off, went so high, and then the shuttle disconnected from it and then it took off into space. They could have still done that. Go out, shut off the engines, let it make its way towards it, just, you know, aim it where you got to go to the moon, somehow land there. Of course, you'd have to find something flat where you don't kill yourself because you hit a, you know, some kind of crater, you're pretty much done. And then stop building, take off from there and take off. I mean, you know, they could just build and then take off from there. It would be nothing to take off from the moon compared to Earth, right? Oh, Greg McDonald said the flat Venetians, I get it. The pancake people exist on Mars. We never thought of that. But are they tasty? James Cragen said, Chris, a question. Why do you think some of the big and well-known craters on the moon are named after Russians' former academics and government officials? Did they land there first, as suggested? I don't think they landed there first because they went up there with their own, you know, back then it was the Soviet Union, they had the Lunokhod rover, which, like I said, I think it traveled, oh boy, I think it was like 1.5 miles. I could be wrong, you'd have to look that up. But I'm trying to remember, I think they went there after or during the missions that we were making, the Apollo mission. So they, at the time, either A, couldn't, or B, didn't want to send, you know, people to the moon. So they sent the Lunokhod, which took a bunch of photos and sent it back because they wanted to have a look themselves. They're probably saying, yeah, why are these guys going up to this, up to the moon? Well, we don't have to risk anybody. We'll just send that. We'll just take a bunch of photos. We'll know exactly what's up there. And I believe it traveled like 1.25 miles, 1.5 miles, somewhere in there. But, you know, it depends. If you got like people from Russia at the time or Soviet Union were looking at the moon and said, hey, I found a new crater, we'll name it after me. And that's probably what they've done. Kind of like new planets. When people find them, like these amateur, like, you know, astronomers, call them what you want. And then they just say, I found a new planet, so therefore you can name it after me. And that's how they pretty much do that. Pat Owen, what's happening? Good to see you in there, man. Say, hey, Chris, hey, all. I barely made it today, but better late than never. Absolutely, Pat. Good to have you in there. Josh D said, am I the only one that to suddenly have a chat box halved? No, mine's still fine. Might have to refresh it, then just go back into live mode. Daniel Webster said, I think that the whole point is they know that there was at least was something. I mean, it's hard to see how something could survive on Venus's surface, but underground and in the clouds, certainly. Remember they were saying that somebody had said there could be cloud cities there because you go so far off the surface, it's just like being in the atmosphere of Earth. So, and wasn't it Venus that they found some kind of like microbial or something in their clouds or something weird up in there? Was it Venus? Been a while since I heard about that, but it seemed to me that's what they, it was Venus. Max K said, I'd love to explore Ganymede, strangest planet I've seen. Actually, that's a moon, but yes. Yeah, really bizarre. Oh, it's a very good possibility, 321 Catbox. You said Venus, I understand the solder on the boards melted out, causing failure. Well, yeah, because, I mean, depending on what they're using, right? But, yeah, that's, you know, it only, let's see. Hell, you only need, what, 70 to, like, 140 degrees to melt good solder. So, anyway, between there. So, obviously, it's a lot hotter there, right? So, maybe they shield it so the heat wouldn't get in there right away. And once, obviously, the outside of the craft heated up, then it would make its way in there and, of course, overheat everything. So it's a very good possibility. Jay McGuffey said, hindrances, hurdles, smoke screens, and illusions, they're best to keep mankind rooted to mining the more shiny stuff by all and any means. Yeah, that's a fact. I don't know. That's a good one. Mark Coffey said, do we believe that the government will disclose what we know about the 7 recovered crafts or show photos of pieces of the 5 crashed ones in our possession? Well, we know that they're there because people leaked it out. But as far as them admitting it, nah. Because then that would basically say, yeah, this is where we get the technology from. So yeah, you don't know what we're really flying around in, quote unquote, Tic Tac UFO, things like that. So yeah, I believe absolutely that they probably wouldn't say anything like that. Pete Ferrero, he said, we constantly get live video from North Pole area, but never the South. Another NASA game to look out, to look for look of here, not there. Yeah, pretty much, right? Oh, you're fine, Megs Cat. You said, true, Chris. I stand corrected. But yeah, that's crazy, the stuff that's on there. I've done that video on Ganymede. And again, they try to make it look like a 2D. And it's got some features on there, maybe small craters and so on and so forth. You get that, right? And, you know, of course, the surface is not completely smooth. But I don't think I think it's deeper, like ravines and shit like that, where it's not like pretty much flat. You have little mountainous areas and ridges, but it goes much deeper than that. And I mean literally, there's a lot more to it. All right, Julia, you said we had a lot of fun, but we have plans, so goodbye for now. Big love to all you viewers. Good group, smart group. See you, Maya, amico. All right, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Much love to you. I'll check out the email when I'm done with this, and we'll get back with you. Have a good weekend there, right? Unless, of course, if you're in Paris, you're already in the weekend. So, yeah. Have a good and safe one. Yeah, I'm almost positive they did too, Tony. Now that you mentioned, you said the CCP landed a rover before we went, no people. But I thought that was a lander with the rover, wasn't it? The Lunicot? But I wasn't sure whether it was before or during the Apollo missions, or maybe even after. Alien Tenno, I think you're right. You said the shuttles didn't get mothballed. Now, there were some. I think there was 2 of them in Kakistan, and this giant building was basically just decaying away, which is crazy. But of course, they had their own, and I don't remember what theirs was. I think it was the Soviet Union, or they had their own version of the shuttle, but it was remote controlled. Didn't have anybody in it. But I know there's 2 of them that are rotting away in this giant building in Kakistan, and it's sad to see that. It really is. Wish I was a multi-billionaire. I'd grab one of those bad boys and store it and restore it. Dirkler, you said NASA policy don't give any clue about life outside Earth. Pretty much, which is really ridiculous. I wonder why they would do such a thing. I mean, it's kind of like, maybe we want to see that? That would be good. I mean, to me, that makes more sense. Ooh, new Perseverance rover photos show Mars showing tantalizing layered rocks. Are these guys kidding me? Really? The rocks may harbor evidence of liquid water activity on ancient Mars. We already know that. They've already said that there was a big lake bed right there in Jezero or Jezero crater, depending how you want to pronounce it, on Mars with the Perseverance, and it was basically water in Gale crater. So why are they saying, oh, it may uncover or show, and the rocks may harbor evidence? Come on. Crazy. All right, 321 Catbox, good to have you in there. You said, I like the way you said that. Time my knees get to clicking. I hear you. He said, keep up the stellar work. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here and, showing your comments and throwing some feedback in. Be safe. Have a good weekend. Yeah, there you go. Maybe tantalizing rocks. Oh yeah, so important. It's like, look at these pretty rocks we're looking at, but don't pay any attention to stuff we're like filtering out of the photo. There's like, you know, ancient civilization there. Just don't pay no mind to that because that's not important. It's these rocks here you need to see. Jay McGuffey said recent extra bits of a few crashes have been forged by various heroic UFO interest groups, and some do come back undetermined or inconclusive. Yeah, I know. I find that kind of odd too, right? Yeah, I find that a little interesting. Yeah, I know. I heard that too, Jerry. You said, Jerry Lehane, you said, Chris, it is supposed but not proven upper clouds in Venus. Well, that's what I'm saying. But they did see something in the clouds. I don't know if it was like some kind of microbial thing in the clouds or in the air, in the atmosphere, the lower atmosphere. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce that right. Layered cabalchin? Cabarchin? They won't even tell us the truth about Earth, life on Earth, never mind anything else. You got that right. James, thank you again, sir. He said, Chris, let's not forget about the millions of years of carved and written in stone and secret documents. They all speak of UFOs phenomenon. Can't deny. Absolutely. And like I said, why weren't, when we go back to like people that are on this hell-bent fear thing going on, if they've been, you know, probably for thousands of, you know, whatever years, and our ancient people seen them, why weren't we killed off then? I mean, seriously, why weren't we killed off then? So either we're a giant ant farm and they just love messing with us and abducting a few of us and animals and people, or, you know, whatever it may be, or they're just not as evil as people think. You know, the test supposedly that people were, you know, when they were abducted, of course they always laugh about anal probing and stuff, but let's say normal test we might think is scary. They're just doing a normal test, thinking you're just another creature from another planet. We want to better understand you. To us, it's horrific. To them, they'd probably just go, what is this thing freaking out about? We're just testing. But to us, it might be like totally brutal test, right? Yeah. David Soenez, I'm not sure I'm even pronouncing that, so forgive me if I'm not. He said, Chris, it's been really interesting listening to you tonight, but I will watch the rest of this Hangout tomorrow night. Good night to you and everyone else. Bedtime now before I nod off. All right, David, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you coming and checking it out and, you know, just jumping in there if you can, you know. So have a good one. Pete Ferrero, Bezos, oh yeah. Notice how he lost that, you know, lawsuit with Elon Musk because they were fighting about the contract for the lander on the moon, and I'm not as sure exactly what it entitled. Meaning they should have said, "Oh, we should have got the contract. Why didn't we get it? Why did SpaceX?" And there's a big beef about that. So it's all about the money, right? So at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. And I guess he took, you know, Elon to court, and of course he failed miserably. And I forget how many millions he won for it, but. You know, whatever. But again, it's the modern age of the space race. That's basically what it comes down to. Layered, you said, I like the giant ant farm theory. Well, I mean, if we've been being observed for thousands of years, again, is it something maybe they've done where they put humans on the planet? They changed our DNA, because it's some ancient civilizations talk about that, changed our DNA to accelerate us from what we were cavemen, hunters and gatherers, to what we are, you know, critically thinking human beings, and then we just took off like you know, like crazy. They even say our brains are literally getting larger and stuff like that. So and some of the, I remember seeing I don't know if it was a documentary or what it was years ago, where they're saying they're trying to figure out how humankind had actually jumped way ahead as opposed to the apes, which were supposed to be basically branched off of. They're saying, why are they still doing what they're doing, but we had advanced so much quicker. So they're trying to figure that out. But they've also noticed that a couple of these primates are now using tools to break open food and do things with it. So they're so far behind, but yet we're so far ahead. And they said that, you know, the human mind has taken a huge leap and they can't figure out how. Now, it makes you wonder, was this basically a hypothetical or total speculation? Regardless, it's still, if we're supposed to be from the same tree, so to speak, as primates, like we're so far off completely, it's just crazy, right? So, Daniel Webster says, but in the end, I know the truth. They are just trying to make everyone else stupid. Well, pretty much. Josh D said it is. He said to me, it is right. Our own history is still hidden by mainstream historians with cushy, tender jobs in universities. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Even them, they're like, yeah, we'll just keep it quiet, whatever, you know. Tony Gibbs said, I'm hoping for looking out so we don't blow ourselves up and ruin the planet. Yeah, because, I mean, think about it. Let's say you don't like, you're a country, you're a leader of a country, and you say, I don't like that particular country. I'd love to just wipe them off the face of the earth. What would it take to do that? You know, nuclear bombs? Well, you got a good chance of killing you and your own people, too. So the only thing I can think of is it probably have to be some massive EMP that you can do from a satellite, put it over a country, just go to town on it, and hopefully you can cripple the whole country, and then, of course, then you can move in and try to dominate the country. But don't think that we don't have this kind of technology either, so we can fight fire with fire. And if our military, rather, if they have, our stuff is shielded towards EMPs, you're not going to do any damage to the military. So even if you were to knock out every household in that country, wouldn't matter. It's like the United States. It's like, it wouldn't matter. The military's, they're ready. So it doesn't matter at this point. High grade gaming, yep. He said it's a game and we play the part. Agreed. Tony Gibbs said the Nubian Museum has an ostrich egg from 7,000-year-old burial site. Yeah, there was something else that was just recently dug up too, and I'm trying to remember what that was. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things coming out more and more and more, which puts our dateline way back, including animals, right? Obi-san, you said I have to run. Have a great evening all, and thank you, Chris, for the awesome work. Well, thanks a lot, Obi-san. Keep wanting to say Obi-Wan, get it? But yeah, thank you. I do appreciate it. Have yourself a good weekend there, right? Be safe. High Grade Gaming said, let's do a trust fund, build a rocket, and leave this Earth. All you need is money. Yeah, I wish I had that. Listen, I said this before, you know, a lot of these multi-millionaires, even back in the 40s, 50s, they went to these space, places where they built satellites. And of course, they're a lot more efficient. Now, you can build a CubeSat. Listen, I need one built. I need you to send it to the moon, this particular part of the moon. I don't care if it crashes after, but I need to take up-close pictures of this particular area. Why? I just need them. I need you to have them send the information straight to this giant satellite dish. I need the information solely for me. Okay, we're just going to just launch it for you, send it out there, and it's on its own, and then, of course, you'll get the information. Then it's either just going to fly by the moon, or it's going to come in slow, take the pictures you need, and then crash into the moon. Why can't it be done? All day long it can be done. So if I was a multi-billionaire, I would do it all day long. Just out of my sheer curiosity, I would. Sean, what's going on? He said, very late night. I'm very late tonight. I'm sorry. Hey, better late than ever. Yeah, you got that right. High grade. He said, we're too poor, and yet they're all super rich. Yeah, imagine that. Daniel Webster said, yes, it's possible they changed our DNA, which makes me think even more that they would not be interested in destroying us, or they wouldn't have gotten as far as they have. Exactly. It's almost like it's your creation. Why kill it? Unless, of course, you said, oh, it went horribly wrong, which could have happened in the past. And then, of course, mankind didn't totally die out. And, of course, it, sprang back up. So, yeah. Tony Gibbs, you said the egg has a map of the Giza Plateau and the Nile River. I think I know which one you're talking about. Was it called the egg, or was it, I forget what the things were called. But yeah, for argument's sake, we'll call it that. But yeah, interesting, really cool. I'm doing good, Sean. I hope you're doing well. He said, I fell asleep. Work is hard at the moment. I don't blame you. I hear you on that. So what else have you guys seen lately where in the news that I haven't mentioned or any of that sort? Because I'm just kind of curious, because I know a lot of you folks, either watch, listen to, either pick up on things, either space news or other things in the local area here on Earth. Anybody got anything to add on that? Because I was just curious, because sometimes you guys will mention something, I go, I'm oblivious to it, because either I've been working and I haven't really been able to get, into that and find out. So again, we learn from each other here, right? I don't think I've heard of that, Manny. He said, anyone know about the 800 million year old Russian mummy of a female in Siberia, I believe? I haven't heard of that one. Interesting. German news is all about Corona. Yeah. Most of the time, right? That's all it's all about lately. High grade says, the New World Order. Well, I don't know. People always say it's like an ominous thing. To me, a New World Order, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're trying to control everything about people. So that, to me, is like a New World Order. But as far as when it comes to, like, anything to do with outside of Earth, not so much, New World Order as far as that goes, but it's just, we'll just remain secret. They don't need to know a darn thing. You're on a need-to-know basis. We're not telling you jack. So, and that's basically what it simplifies. It simply comes down to, right? So that's the only thing I can think of. And then, like you said, you got New World Order thing going on. Yeah, I mean, you literally, they're trying to control every aspect of what you do, pushing, vaccines on you and all the kinds of stuff. I went to my doctor the other day. He says, oh, did you get the shot yet? I said, nope. He says, it's mandated, right? I'm not getting it. I don't need to. Not going to. I have my own goddamn rights. I'm not going to be, I'll be damned. Now, some people will choose, like I said, to get it, and they should, if they feel they should. I'm not totally against anybody getting it, and I don't wrong anybody for saying or jump them for it. Do what you got to do. Like I said, it'd be one thing like after a year or so that, after 2 years and they said, okay, everything's getting better, nobody's seeing any adverse side effects, which people were getting them anyway with the shot. So, but if they find, no, it's just as good, it's fine, nobody's having an issue, then maybe you'd consider it. But not the way the science is showing it. I'm not having any part of it. And they say, well, then, if anybody who works, before, I don't know how it is in your countries or local at your job, but they say here anyway, if your company has over 100 people, you have to get the shot. It's mandatory. Well, at my company, we don't, where I work. So we're exempt from that. Now, if they said, no, now it's mandated, everybody needs to get it. Good working for you, I'm out. Simple as that. That's it. Not having it. Tony Gibbs, thank you very much, sir, for your support. I do appreciate you, man. I really do. That is awesome. Tony on the Super Chat. Mars Leaks. Would you say, got no news about Mount Blur, still blurry? Pretty much. Got something on these glasses, don't I? Look like a little speck or something. I think we got a rude awakening anyway coming, high grade gaming, right? He said, it's coming, Chris. Please try to believe the outside world is the gods, bro. You know, I think we got a real harsh reality coming up. You know, they're really talking about how, you remember, you probably heard it on the news where they're saying that it's getting harder and harder to maybe get Christmas gifts because of all of these ships out in the seas and nobody's bringing them in. It's almost like they're purposely trying to starve the states or other countries. So my advice to you, and even, somebody was just telling me this today, they said, it's going to be harder than heck to even buy tires for your car. I said, I don't give a damn. I got mine done about 3 months ago, brand new tires on it. So I was getting prepared. I don't think it was even 3 months ago. But, you know, you're getting, I don't know about you folks in your countries or even in the States here, how many stores have you been to where you're starting to see more and more holes in these shelves? Yeah. I would, if you were smart, maybe got an extra room, extra large, pantry of some sort, just stock up a little extra something. Something that could be on shelves for a while. I'm not saying it's a fear-mongering thing. I'm not into that crap. All I'm saying is, just in case it gets to a shortage, because even in the store where we buy the stuff ourselves, I can see more and more aisles literally dwindling in merchandise. Have you guys seen the same thing, either here in the States or other countries? Sean, you said we have no rules with regard to work in the vaccine, still personal choice, but there are hidden pressures, I believe. Yeah, there is, absolutely. There's a, well, if you don't have a card showing you can't come into my restaurant. Or some airlines, I'm not sure if there's any now, but I know they were going to do the mandate thing. If you don't have it, you don't fly. Some states at some point, remember last year where they were saying you can't even come into the state unless you can show a card. Now, how foolish did it seem back in the day when last year where you were still getting this thing. So when everybody was getting these shots and they went, oh, you got to get the shot. Once you do, you'll be fine. Well, people got the shots, they got the double jab, now they got the third one coming out, and guess what? People are still getting it. So people end up in the ICU, so on and so forth. You can still spread it. What is the point of it? I know, I keep hearing the same thing. Well, you have less symptoms of it. So won't I. Now, I've already had COVID. And so people who already had COVID and never got the shot, you now have more antibodies than the person with the shot. So now all of a sudden the Delta strain hits me. Whoop. It's still going to protect me, and it won't be as bad. Like when they say getting a jab says, it won't be as bad if you get it. So mine will be the same way. I'll get it. My body will build up immunity to that. So on and so forth. So if it rolls on more and more viruses, your body will build it because you're building it every time you catch one of these. So it's just like the shot only being natural. Now, I can understand some people going, yeah, but I don't want to take the chance, end up in the hospital and dying. Totally get it. That's why I said it's your choice to get it or not. You know, I'm not going to judge. I'm just saying, for me personally, I won't. Unless, of course, I find it that they're saying, listen, they come up with a more refined vaccine and you just don't get sick from it anymore. Okay, I'll consider that. And you would do that. But until then, no. See, that's crazy. You know, Josh D, he said 85 vaccinated in Holland. We are going back into lockdown. ICs are overflowing. Now, why? They claim the shot is the bomb. You should have it. Why is that? That makes no sense to me. You're supposed to have it, a lot less effects of it if you should get it once you had the jab. Why are there people even in the hospital with it? And why are there people in ICUs of all places? But yet it's safe for you. Go ahead and get it. That's why I'm you know, you're on the fence, but I'm way like over here going, no, I'm good. But I can't speak for everybody. Yeah, exactly, high grade game. I totally agree with you. So, Chris, here's how you get rid of the COVID. Turn off your TV, for F's sakes. Absolutely. Daniel Webster said, I would really like to know if aliens come down and picked up primitive humans and monkeyed around with their DNA. There are even some scientists that believe it. Yeah. Of course, they're, you know, like out of bounds, or they're just, the taboo to talk about something like that because you'll be ridiculed. But you got to tell it like it is. But most people, scientists, you know, whatever, they're just going, I could be laughed out of a job and never have my job again. What is the point? I don't want to take the chance with that. But I'd rather tell the truth than to be lying to people for the rest of my life. Just because I'm making decent bank doesn't mean squat to me. I'd rather go on my own and do lectures and stuff like that and tell people about what's going on, right? Elaine, you said they caused a panic buying a fuel in the UK not long ago, saying lack of drivers be a shortage, told people not to panic. So many people panicked and so created a shortage. That was the predicted cause. Yeah, they did the same thing where they were saying, remember they were saying the thing about the toilet paper and the paper towels? Wiped everything out. So then, oh, now we have a shortage. What was the point? Why say it at all? I mean, you know, if it ends up like that, you go to a gas station and there's no fuel for you, well, then you go, oh, well, now I'm screwed. You know what I mean? Or the gas goes to $5, $6 a gallon. And I'm talking about here in the States, because I know in other countries it's high. I get that. Of course, they do it by, I forget what it is. They don't do it by gallons. They do it by other measurements. But regardless of the fact, if it goes super high in your country, you know there's a demand. And they're trying to slow down the consumption of it. This is the reason why they raise the gas price. So that you be more conscientious. Slow down in buying your fuel so they can catch up to the actual demand. And that's what it's all about. So, but the problem with it is people have to continue to work. They have to make a living. They need to get back and forth to their job. So how do you do that? It's a must. So these people are making money hand over fist. Pat Owens says it's all a hoax. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's being, you know, exaggerated, that's for sure. I'm not sure if all of it is a fake, but you can bet that it's definitely been exaggerated, right? Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, Third Eye Open, you're right. He said, I know someone who is dying right now from it, wasn't vaccinated. But here's the funny part. We know, and it's nothing funny about it, it's just the way I'm saying it. But there was a mom and a daughter. Now, the mom, believe it or not, is in her 80s, almost maybe the low 90s. The daughter is probably 60s to 70s. The daughter's dying, the mother's not. So it depends on your body. You could be overweight. Most of the time, it's already existing issues you already have with yourself. Maybe you had heart issues already. So when I went in there, my heart was beating like crazy. I was almost like hyperventilating because, you know, you're like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. So if I already had really bad issues with my heart to begin with, there's a good chance I probably wouldn't have made it. You know what I mean? But that depends on many variables. Had I gone in 3 days later, earlier, it probably wouldn't have been bad. In other words, I wouldn't have been that bad off. So it's got to do with timing. It's got to do with your physical. It's got to do with, did you have any issues prior to that? Again, obesity, heart issues, diabetes, the whole nine. They all play a part. So if you had these pre-existing issues, it just takes that one thing. It could have been just a regular flu. Sent you right over the edge and killed you. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people say, well, it's the elderly people that are more at risk, which is true, but yet there's a 90-year-old woman, let's say she's 90, give or take 3 to 4 years, right? She's living, her daughter's dying. So I think it comes down to you're a physical person, right? And it's sad to say that. You know, see what you're saying as far as, you know, people you know are dying and stuff like that. I hate to see that because we've had lost friends too to this. Now, I know they had pre-existing issues. And they were saying a lot of kids are having issues nowadays because they are obese. Today's kids are more obese because they don't get out like you and I and everybody else used to do. Remember that? You'd run, heck, I remember running for a couple miles to go see a friend of mine, get on a bike, whatever. Now kids are like, they're playing on a video game on their phone and they're going, Mom, can you take me to see my friend? He literally lives a block away, go find him. They want you to drive them. No, not going to do that. Unless, of course, you live in a dangerous area, like there's no sidewalks or any of that sort. Or you just live around where you may think is a bunch of creeps and you just don't want to do that. I get that. That makes perfect sense. But, wow, you really have to be cautious with this, you know? James Cragen said, Chris, listen, man, one of the Pfizer's largest plants in my hometown, it's called Pfizer Ringaskiddy, Limited Cork, Ireland, and the production operators at Pfizer, they're refusing their own vaccine, honestly. Well, no, it's funny you mention that because they were also talking about how they falsified their observations. In other words, when they were doing these tests, the first testing on there, I don't know if any of you guys heard this, but there's a whistleblower, I don't know if they worked in Pfizer, said that people, like, you're supposed to, when you get the shot, you're supposed to sit half hour to make sure you don't go into anaphylactic shock, right? So you would sit there for a half hour once you get the shot, and then you would move on. If nothing happened to you, you were pretty much golden. So they weren't even doing that. They were leaving them out in the hallways. They weren't even paying attention to them. There was people that had major issues. They weren't even paying attention to them. They were falsifying the records of side effects and things like that. This is Pfizer. Now, from what I heard, if you were going to get any vaccine, the Moderna is better. Not because of any falsifications, but they say that the actual vaccine is a lot better concentrated and it's better protecting than all the others. So they said Moderna is the best one to get if you have to get one. I know people have gotten Pfizer, they've gotten the COVID. Now, I'm not saying nobody with Moderna's never gotten it, but there's a lot less chance. You might get like maybe some mild little issues and you're pretty much ready to go, So Manny Cove, you said, I got the flu vaccine, which has worked for me since I was in Iraq Freedom Invasion in 2003. I'm against COVID vaccines and masks. Yeah, I mean, they don't work. Clearly they don't. How many times, when this exploded, how many people, here's the funny part, China alone wears masks all the time. And yet there's a major explosion of it there. So, and then people are like, no, wear the mask, and stay 6 feet apart. Okay, it still is in the air. If you're in a building, it has air circulation, it has heat or AC. It's going to circulate these germs inside the store. You're going to get it one way or the other. The mask is not going to help you. It's as simple as that. And a lot of these people who are scientists and doctors, meaning scientists that work for virology and work in these kind of labs, they'll tell you right out the masks don't work. They were expecting like herd immunity. They said don't bother. Everybody at some point is going to get it. You're either going to A, pull through it, or B, you're not. It's as simple as that. Yeah, Mark, I think you're right on that. Mark Coffey says, all of the issues that people are feeling in regards to inflation are intentionally brought on and by design from supposedly intelligent leaders. What I noticed, the gas is slightly going up here. There is, as far as food-wise, prices starting to go up $1 to $2 a piece. In fact, I was talking to one of the co-workers where she works in the produce area, and she said things have gone up like $1 a piece. It could be anything from just simple stuff like blueberries and so on and so forth. But that's usually around the coldest season anyway, right? Because you lose a lot of areas that grow these blueberries and raspberries and all this other stuff. So you have a tendency to lose a lot of the fields in it, so the price of those do go up. But there's a lot of things that we've seen that are just going up. Regular household items, spatulas and junk like that, going up. For what reason? Funny thing is, it's going up, but your paycheck isn't, right? Yeah. It's all designed for you to say, well, at least I'm making decent money. Then inflation starts going up. Well, now you fall behind the curve again. Well, it's going up. Well, I got to raise it. Well, no, it's going back. It's almost like you can never catch up. I do my best to make sure I keep my bills down. I still live comfortably. And like I said, the 2 cars that I have are decent on gas. Well, one doesn't even use gas, and the other one is actually minimum 44 miles to the gallon. And if I travel a longer distance, I can easily get 48 to 50, not even trying. Summertime, all day long, if I'm on the freeway much more, I can get 55 to 60 miles to the gallon. So, you do the best you can to plan your traveling so you're not using as much gas. So in other words, make a loop around. If you got to go, well, I got to stop at this store, this grocery store, this store, make it a loop, come back home. Watch what you buy as far as food. Eat the necessary foods, not just junk food. Watch what you do. Keep your bills down in your house. All of it, all the pennies add up to dollars. That's all there is to it. Oh, I know. I was watching the same thing, Josh D. That I know who you're talking about. Um, I know who you're talking. The Indian guy. Yeah, I watch him a lot too. He said the effing thing is that if you said this on Instagram, you would be blocked immediately. And do not think YouTube won't do the same. Won't they did this to that Indian guy? Yeah. What's his name? Something Sardine or some weird name. I forget what it is, but yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, and they've been screwing with him big time. He's a doctor. He's a licensed doctor, and yet it doesn't matter. Quiet the actual real news coming out. These are from doctors coming out. Shh. We want our own narrative out there. We don't want the truth out there. We want people to be afraid. You know, keep them oppressed, keep them in fear. That's what it's all about. All right, Pat, I think you're getting out of here. I don't know if you already left, but you said have a good night, Chris, and all of you. See you all next Friday. All right, Pat, thanks for being here. Brother, I do appreciate you being here. Have yourself a good weekend as well, right? Yeah, Daniel, you said, yeah, I went to Walmart the other day and to buy food, and most of it that I buy was gone. It's like, here's a perfect example, and I know you guys will, if you buy anything to do with crackers, saltines, regular crackers, whatever, how many have you seen on the shelf lately? Oh, wait. Ours is completely wiped out. It's gone. I go to the local Walmart, both of them that's in my area. Gone. Can't get them. Why? Well, crackers have a decent shelf life. And if I was to put a little peanut butter on there, which I don't need to refrigerate or anything, I can have food for a while. So in case there's a shortage of food, this is what people are thinking. So, and of course, you can get other canned stuff. You know what I mean? You don't have to have, you know, crackers because they won't last forever, right? But still, it's a short-term solution. If things got real bad until they got better, you have something to eat. You won't starve. That's what it comes down to. Minikov, you said if the vaccines were good, the companies would allow for lawsuits. This evil government, I'll get it out, would not be forcing it. Yeah, and yet they just tell you right out, you can't sue them. Oh, really? So they're that good for people, so they just made themselves exempt from getting sued. Yeah, that just tells me right off the bat, I don't want nothing to do with your vaccine. I'm good. All the way back down here. I don't know if anybody else had wrote a comment or question, but please do so. Yeah, Praveen, there you go, Josh D. Has over 100,000, I'm sorry, I think he's got over 1 million, right? Followers on YouTube, and they stopped him, but after 1 million protests, he was reinstated. Yeah, because they'd rather hush his ass, they'd rather shut him up from getting what he believes, well, not believes, but what he knows, because a lot of these guys are going by peer-reviewed papers or the, basically their science papers, and they're going by this. They're telling the public the truth. Squash it. That's the way that's what they want to do. It's not right. You and I should know the truth about this stuff, and based on what you have found out, they should be honest about this stuff. Then you have the right to make whatever decision you want. It's your body. You should be able to make and have your own choice. Am I correct or am I not? So if you agree, then you go, yeah. So take the needle, shove it. I'm not interested. Unless there was no adverse, reactions. Then you go, okay, I don't feel so bad getting it, and I'm willing to take the chance. But most people are not. They're going, you hear this all the time, oh, that's just a small percentage of people that something happened, either became crippled or they died from it. Okay, what if, though, you're one of the statistics? Then what? Makes no sense. Nobody wants to take that chance. Maybe you have loved ones, like most people do. Why would you take the chance of taking this and all of a sudden you're dead? Or you're handicapped for the rest of your life. You really want your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it may be, to have to basically spoon feed you for the rest of your life? Or you're dead? Nah. A lot of people don't want to take that chance. Why is it that a lot of nurses, there was like 3,000 several months ago in the UK, that were quitting the job? They weren't taking the jab. Why? These are nurses that work at these hospitals. Why? Makes no sense, does it? Yeah, funny story about that, Jay. He was just saying, Jay McGuffey said Ozzy Osbourne was munching bats on stage a few years ago, and how times have changed. Yeah, he only did that one time, remember? Because he had, like, he said that he actually had, because they actually asked him more than once about that. And he said, well, here's the thing. He used to bring rubber bats onto the stage. And somebody actually threw a pretty much a dead bat onto the stage. So he took it, and it was actually real. So he didn't do that intentionally, right? That was actually something that he thought it was a regular, it was a dead bat. He didn't think nothing of it. He's singing. And then, of course, we probably had to get a rabies shot, throw up a few times, and whatever else. But yeah. Terry Kelling, what's going on? He said, COVID-19, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah, there's not too many people want to have to take that chance. I just don't get it. Phil Cox said, these figures were released in the UK on 9/15/2021 from the start of the vax, 9/1/2021. I think I've seen the same thing you're talking about. 1,632 COVID-19 injected related deaths and 1,186,844 injuries per MHRA yellow card syndrome, scheme rather. I was going to say syndrome. Goes to show you how good I was looking at that screen. But yeah, so it'd be one thing if they said, listen, anybody who's gotten any of these shots, guess what? No symptoms, no adverse, side effects. They literally were touching people with COVID and never got it. You'd say, well, this is the bomb. Nobody would have an issue with it. Would anybody here have an issue with it? People who have not gotten and refused to. Would you get it if you know there's no adverse conditions or something that would happen to you after, no death, and you would not get another strain or the same strain back again? Would you not take it? George Mayer, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, you die if you do and you die if you don't take it. Yeah, it's just a weird, yeah, it's a weird balance, man. It's like, there you go. Larry just said liquid Russian roulette. Yep. But I think ultimately it comes down to what you feel is best for you, right? And that's pretty much it. I think, and I'm just going to close this out because we're going to go anyway, but I think, now just remember this, I think if they had done this to begin with, ivermectin rather, they knew it can actually kill it off. 2 tablets, kill it off. Within 2 or 3 days you'd have it, it'd be gone, dead, okay? So instead of the hospitals treating you, you go in there, they stuff the things up your nose, these things, and say, oh, by the way, you have COVID. Here's a couple of these ivermectin. Send you home. You're done with it. Why do they choose to say, just go home, if it gets worse, come back? Why? So they can treat you, which costs you money. They said it's about $3,500 just to get in the door and get a little bit of, get whatever they're going to give you for it. Why not just give this to begin with and be done with it? They could have killed this virus off a long time ago. Can't do that. Well, no, it's an animal thing for deworming. No, it's not. Ivermectin's an actual, ivermectin rather, is actually a topical. They use it in creams. They use it in all kinds of things. And they actually make a human version of that. So it's not just animal. Listen to what's his name, when he got, the news channels basically screwed him or talked crap about him, Joe Rogan, when he did it. He says, done with it. Of course, he did go to the hospital. They did give him all kinds of antibiotics and all that. But it's not the point. Once you go there and they say you have it, why don't they give it to you, send you home? You're done with it. This would have died off a long time ago. No. Again, if we could just let X amount of people die off, that's less people will be eating off the planet, less people using resources. We can kill generation after generation after generation of people. Because if I kill one woman, maybe she's 22 years old. Guess what? She won't have any kids. Therefore, her kids won't have kids. So you're killing not just one person, but many generations to come. Less Social Security got to be dealt out. Less growth of the planet, because you just killed off how many worldwide? Yeah. So they could have easily solved this problem, but no, let's not do that. Yeah. But with that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to jump on off of this. So everybody, I'm just going to get rid of this here. Oh, we'll just pick one of these. What do you think? I'll get this one here. But what I find, you know, just last word, what I find out is, what's really strange is that I go, okay, so let me get this right. You would rather see people die off than to simply give them something, send them home. They're done with it in 2 to 3 days. Done. So now it killed it. You don't have it anymore. How can you spread it? It's done. You killed it. They could have done this to everybody that entered a hospital. They wouldn't have an overwhelmed ICU. They would have had this all taken care of, squashed. This would have been gone last year. It's a bunch of BS. You want to protect yourself? Get yourself some ivermectin. I think you could buy like a generic dose online. Just buy it yourself. But, you know, I don't know if you can or not, but I think you can. But regardless of the fact. But anyway, I'm going to let everybody go. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, having the conversation, just being a cool group as always. And all the support you guys show. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. Love you all. And like I said, I just appreciate you guys being here. It's just awesome to be, like I said before, to just come here on a Friday night and just kind of chill and watch everybody talking here and everything else. And again, thank you, James. Appreciate you. So Chris, great hangout again tonight from everyone. Appreciate it. So, you know, anybody who's new here, thanks for showing up, man. Just keep showing up, you know, every week, every Friday. We always have a decent talk here. We talk about different topics. Might start looking at more gigapans like we used to do and check those out. And of course, it's your choice. You guys can leave it either here or down in the comment section after this video is posted. And there you go. So, you know, thanks again for everybody being here. Much love to you all. Be safe out there. Try not to get yourself infected. I mean, just kind of be chill. But anyway, everybody have yourself a good one. What time is it? Maybe we'll leave it on. I got about 10 past the hour, so it's about 9, 10 past. So I'll leave it on until about 20 past. You guys can talk it up a little bit and jump off. Anybody who has not thumbed up this, please do so. Let's try to squeak it towards the 200. Let's get it up there a little higher, right? Anybody who hasn't, please do so. Much appreciated. It goes by stats. YouTube is more than likely going to share it if the thumbs up are higher. It gets more noticed and so on and so forth. So please do. Much appreciated. Everybody be safe. Be careful. We'll see you guys soon. Much love to you.